Let's get nasty on a Monday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and our guy Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. The snake pit can see that Andrew Marsh is ready for tonight's game.
Boy,
He's got his Minnesota Vikings helmet on. He's got his Justin Jefferson jersey on.
Ready.
He's got the hoodie. He's ready to go. Now, you're going to wear the helmet for how long?
I'm going to wear it the entire show.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
I mean, it's kind of tough. Like, these headphones that I have on, they keep falling out of my ears.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to adjust it real quick. But, no, Anthony, I'm dedicated to the game.
You ready to rock?
I'm some pants and cleats away from suiting up tonight on
Okay.
special teams.
Nice.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Oh, I feel horrible right now.
Do tell.
Do you feel nervous? Or?
Yeah, I feel super nervous.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Because you think you saw the game early on this year.
Yeah.
It didn't go well, but you were also coming off the loss to the Lions. Short week. It wasn't a great.
Kind of just happened.
You're also just coming off the loss. Yeah.
Yeah, this is incredible.
It's not a short week this time.
It's not a short week. It's actually a longer week this time.
You eliminated one of those variables at least.
That's true. I'm just going to wait and see. We'll see what happens. I'll be cheering my team on. We'll see what happens. And, I've seen the Vikings lose playoff games. However, I have seen them win 2. Now, those 2 wins came against the Saints in my time as a Vikings fan, and one of them was a miracle, as they say.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't get to that point tonight, but a win's a win, and I'll take that tonight.
And you're favored? You're favored going in. You're favored on the road.
I don't really like that,
Ish. You're on the road.
but I like to be the underdog, Anthony.
Okay. All right. Well, that's Andrew Marsh. He's going to be wearing that Minnesota Vikings helmet for the foreseeable future as he's ready for tonight's game.
I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Is this the first time all 4 of us have been in the studio this new year?
This year?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is. I think so.
Yeah, because the one time we had an opportunity, Marsh was sick.
Yeah. He wasn't here either, was he?
No, I was here. We had Bradford.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I don't know what day it
Welcome
was
back,
still.
Carey Davis from Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Still
Carey's
mentally.
body is here. Mentally, he's not.
Carey, what was the favorite part of your trip? I mean, that we can talk about.
We did a lot of things. We went on a kayaking thing, late night, glow in the dark kayaking. We went to Old San Juan and got to learn the history of walking tour. We had some drinks, some beverages, had a good time.
What was your favorite beverage? Because I feel like every time I go on vacation, there's one that wins.
What I learned on the Old San Juan walking tour is the pina colada was created in Puerto Rico. And so
He's got an accent.
He's back.
He's like the LSU head coach.
It's Brian Kelly.
My family. And so there are a couple of establishments that claim to be the first one to originate said drink. We went to one of those establishments, and I got to tell you, it might be the best damn pina colada I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever get to the bottom of which one's actually the first one?
No, because you know what? There was a store. It's like 2 or 3
Did
of
you
them.
have one from each place?
I only had one. Well, I had one from one of the original places.
Okay.
And then I had several from other places, and they were all pretty damn good. So, yeah, a little rum. We went on a rum tasting tour.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That got sloppy.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful in there because you can walk in and stumble out.
That's fine.
Yeah, so it was good. Had a good time, man.
Well, good, buddy.
Yeah.
Nice. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're glad to be here. Ish. Yeah.
I'm glad to see you all. I could have used another week or 2 in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. I mean, I love you guys, but I'd take an extra day in Puerto Rico instead of seeing you guys.
All right, so last night was the most entertaining wild card matchup thus far. Now, we do have tonight's Vikings and Rams matchup, too. But last night, what came down literally to the last second, came down to a doink that actually went in. The Buccaneers lose to the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, best player on the field last night. I thought he was just kind of steady. I thought he was steady last night. He made the big play there at the end to pick up the first down to put them in field goal range. The stress, guys, that he puts on a defense was apparent last night. And I know Tampa Bay started to lose some defenders throughout the course of the game. But Jaden Daniels' ability to beat teams with his legs as much as his arm, I mean, that's going to be a problem and I like your Lions next week. Jamie. I'm not picking the Commanders, but that's going to be a problem for the Lions. Or if they were to get advance to either the Eagles, Rams, or Vikings, this is a problem moving forward. The Commanders have their guy. This is the worst the Commanders are going to be too.
Yeah,
theoretically.
Yeah. They're only going to get better. He's in his first year. You figure things start. Now we saw this to some degree with C.J. Stroud last year, and he's kind of regressed in his second year. Jaden Daniels poses a different problem though, because he is athletic. He can use his legs. He was able to lead the team in rushing yesterday. So when you're that dynamic, able to take care of the football, don't turn it over, and you're able to make plays with your arm and your legs, it's a troublesome thing for opposing defensive coordinators trying to figure out how to stop that player. So he is only going to get better. They're going to get better. Dan Quinn has those guys playing at an extremely high level. I don't know. I picked the Buccaneers. I think me and BK were the only two that picked the Buccaneers in our Pick'em challenge.
No. BK and
the Commanders.
The Commanders, you meant.
I picked the Commanders.
You and BK are the only ones that picked the Commanders.
It's okay.
You know what I mean.
I got you.
Picked the Commanders because I felt like that the Commanders, like you said, because of the talent of Jaden Daniels, and they've just been playing really well as of late. I didn't know what to expect from Baker Mayfield. Not a poor day, but you expect more passing yards and more than what he was able to give you. So I picked the Commanders because I thought that they would have a better chance to win that game in Tampa.
I actually thought the Bucs' game plan was pretty good. I didn't hate it. Would I like to see the ball get tossed around a little bit more? Yeah, but they went with their chalk. Mm-hmm. Mike Evans. We talked about it last week. Said, who's your guy that's going to be the hero? And I was like, it's going to be Mike Evans. I just feel like it's going to be a night for him. And he went off. 7 catches on 7 targets. Mm-hmm. So perfect there. 92 yards and a touchdown. But it just wasn't enough. And, the costly fumble for the Bucs, I still can't tell if he was trying to hand that off or if he was trying to hand it off and keep it. Because it looks like the player was not really trying to grab it, but hit the ball at the same time. It's like they got their signals crossed a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a jet sweep that just went awry, or like you're saying, Baker's supposed to fake it.
Trying to pull it back in.
Either way.
Baker blamed himself after the game. He says, because that fumble's on me.
Sure.
Which good leaders do.
Absolutely. The Bucs had 2 crucial moments in that game. Like Jaden Daniels is going to do his thing. There's going to be some times where there's nothing you can do from a scheme standpoint or a talent standpoint. But the Buccaneers screwed up twice last night. One was that play that Jamie just described. They get the goal line stop. Commanders go for it for the second time on 4th down. And maybe after we saw the kicker doink one in, you understand why Dan Quinn was a little more aggressive last night going for it on 4th down. But you get the ball back. It's a 17-13 game. Washington really wasn't slowing you down that much. The Bucs didn't possess the ball for long stretches of time. When they did get the ball, it was like the Mike Evans and Bucky Irving show. But you put that ball on the ground, sets up Washington. Eventually, they do capitalize on that 4th down play. I thought the other key moment in that game was when Tampa was trailing 2017. Immediately, they go downfield. I mean, one pass, you're almost to midfield. They get deep into Washington territory, and what happens? The rookie center snaps the ball. Clearly, it was on the rookie center. He snaps the ball too early.
Way too early.
Baker gets it. It's almost like Shane Falco. You get the mix.
Turning in the running back's not there.
Exactly. So everything got screwed up there. Tampa's offensive line doesn't fire off. Bucky Irving gets smashed.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you pick up a yard there first down. Maybe it's a 24-20 game as opposed to a tie game, and the Bucs never saw the ball again. So I thought that was 2 moments. The Baker fumble and the errant snap, or the early snap by the Bucs. It was really 2 plays that cost him, I thought, last night.
And I was so impressed with Jaden Daniels. And you look at how many come from behind or 4th quarter comebacks that they've had throughout the season. I'm not going to lie. I don't really follow the Commanders. I watch their games, see the highlights, whatever, but I don't follow them intensely. Watching Jaden Daniels, I was like, okay, so really the cheat code for an NFL team that was terrible the year before is find your quarterback.
Right.
Oh, that's always it.
I mean, and your head coach.
Yeah.
Because obviously Dan Quinn has done a great job with the Commanders. He had done a great job in Dallas as the defensive coordinator as well. And then he got his quarterback.
Yeah.
Because coming in the season, we like Jaden Daniels, but all we talked about was, there's no way. Their defense is no good. This is that. The secondary stinks. But they rattled off, 11 wins?
Yeah.
or 12 wins?
12. I think they finished with 12.
12-5, yeah.
Yep.
And now they have a playoff win.
And the Bears had them beat. The Eagles had them beat when they had Washington had 5 turnovers. Dallas should have had them beat. They allowed Terry McLaurin to score really just an inconceivable touchdown at the end of that game against Washington. I mean, there was a couple of big moments there. I wouldn't say Atlanta had them beat, but Atlanta had the game close. Could have gone either way. Washington could have been a 9-win team, but they wound up being 13 wins, and they get a playoff win. And Jaden Daniels, I think this is the biggest compliment I can give him. He looks the same as he did at LSU.
I was just about to say that.
It's the same player.
I was just about to say that. The thing that impresses me the most is the fact that, when you're at the collegiate level, you're going to have the quarterback runs. You're going to have the RPO game. Normally, and most times, other than Lamar Jackson, who has still continued to do that because he runs the ball like crazy, and somewhat with Josh Allen, you normally don't see that. They try to progress a player into being a prototypical in-the-pocket quarterback. They're running zone reads. Now, he did get smoked on the sideline one time early in the game. Get down and get out of bounds.
Sure.
You don't want to take too many of those shots. But doing those things and allowing the player to be who he is, it does keep the defenses off balance. When you're running that RPO game, it's a difference from what you see in the NFL. And so when you see it in college, you normally see wide receivers wide open catching passes for 20, 30, 40-yard chunks because the defense is brought up and Marshy is.
He's got his Jefferson jersey on, so he's playing the NFL now.
And so you see the defense come up, and now you're able to hit those passes right behind them. They're keeping those things in. They've implemented that, and he's playing at a really high level. He has great pocket awareness, able to elude the rush and elude sacks, and just keep the play alive as best as he can. And when he gets his opportunity, he makes good plays. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know it's going to be interesting to see how well they perform this upcoming week because that is a really good team with a young quarterback.
They're not overly talented, though. They're really not. I mean, if you look at their
McLaurin is a really talented receiver that has gotten
absolutely.
Last few years wasn't getting the most out of the quarterback position. Now he's getting some help in that regard.
Top end talent. You got Jaden Daniels. You got Terry McLaurin. A couple of defensive linemen there for Washington. Payne got hurt last night. But other than that, like Zach Ertz, good player. Zacchaeus, good player.
Right.
But really, you're not talking about like top end talent on that roster. No. This is the point. It's like Washington theoretically is only going to get better from here on out. Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. 2:15 your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. The Blues, let's get into them. So they lose again to the Blue Jackets over the weekend. We'll get into the lack of urgency and whether or not this lack of urgency is costing them and could cost them moving forward. That's next on 101 ESPN.
No better time than the present to accessorize your vehicle. Please head over to Pure Performance. They are your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. They are known for their top quality work, and they're also known for just how many amazing items they have in stock. How do they have all those in stock? Well, it's easy. They have a 25,000 square foot facility that houses the largest showroom in the area where you can find anything, and I mean anything and everything you're going to need to enhance your vehicle. And what kind of vehicle? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Jeep, Bronco, a pickup truck, an SUV, a minivan, a car. Pure Performance has something for you in stock, and you're going to love it. Also, tires are important right now this time of year. Check your tires. If you need tires, head over to Pure Performance. They carry every size tire, every make, no matter what you have for your vehicle, they've got you covered over there. And you just have to stop by and say hi to them. When you get there, ask for Shelby or Caleb. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love to hear that, but you're absolutely going to love it. And if nothing else, at least visit their websites. That's pureperformance.com. Pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
The lack of urgency in our group is what's hurting us in our consistency. You look at the way we came out against Anaheim, there was a direct purpose to what we were doing. Tonight, there was not. It was a wait and see. And that urgency, us fearing losing, is something that's got to become part of our fiber if we're going to get to the consistent level we want to be at.
That was Jim Montgomery following the Blues' 2-1 loss to the Blue Jackets. And, yeah, the Blues didn't start off well first two periods, at least from an offensive standpoint. They trail 2-0 going into the third period, eventually fall 2-1, like I had mentioned. Jamie, what do you think about Monty's comments there about not only the urgency, but I thought that was interesting when he said, until we get to a point where we're not fearing losing, we're not gonna build consistency. I thought that was kind of poignant.
Yeah, and Monty was directly talking to his team there, by the way. Like, he used the media as a vehicle, but he knows those comments are going to be heard and shared amongst the players in the locker room. Mm-hmm. And look, ever since Jim Montgomery has taken over, it's not that Drew Bannister didn't do a good job. I just think the message has been crystal clear from Monty that they're continuing to build. They're continuing to work with this group to make them more difficult to play against on a consistent basis. They figured out the defensive side of it. They're one of the best teams in the NHL right now at not giving up chances 5-on-5. They are the best team in the NHL since the Christmas break for offensive. Second best now to Columbus after the last game, but they were number one in goals scored, period. So he's figured out those two things. Now he continues to figure out what's next. And when you take over a team like the Blues, it's in a retool. It's like when you take over a company that has been failing, not completely, they're just sort of kind of, doing okay. You go in there, you have a checklist of all the things that you need to accomplish with this company, who can handle what, who can't handle it, who has to go, who you need to bring in, all this stuff. That's what Monty's doing. And right now, that's the next box right there. He's going, we don't fear losing. We're a little too loosey-goosey. We're fine until we're not fine, and then by then, it's too late. And that's what happened the other night. The Blues were fine. Playing pretty good, not bad. Had some good chances. The goalie, got to give the Columbus Blue Jackets goalie some credit. He had some big saves. Now, did the Blues have some opportunities that they missed? Yeah, of course they did. But they didn't have that urgency until it was too late in the game. And all of a sudden, the third period, they outshoot them, 12-2 or something like that. Too late at that point.
Right.
So Monty needs them. Now that he's said it out there and it's public, it's almost healing. Because now the players go in today for practice and he goes, okay, how do we fix this, guys? How do we fix it? How do we feel when we play these teams? Like, you start to get it out on the table. It's just like a therapy session almost. And you certainly talk to your leadership group to see, is there anything that, as a staff, we can do differently? Because Monty brought up himself at the post-game presser. He says, I failed, too. This is on me as well.
Sure.
So as a staff, what can we do? As a team, what can we do? How do we get from A to B with this whole thing? Because once you've identified it, now you have to find a solution. And if the solution is moving on from certain players, then that's a Doug Armstrong conversation that he can have with the player and with Jim Montgomery. But I don't think that's true. I don't believe that to be true. I think that that's a locker room of guys who want to win. I just think it's still a locker room of guys who aren't really sure how to win.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Well, no, it does, because, I mean, Carey, you probably were on teams, and I'm sure, Jamie, you too, where you get this sense of you do have some leaders, but maybe those leaders have had the ultimate success, maybe they haven't, and you're just kind of figuring it out together, and that identity hasn't formed yet. And so I do think that you do have to figure out as a team, collectively, that team, not previous ones, not a couple of players that maybe played in the 2019 championship, but this group, you have to figure out how to win, and clearly the Blues haven't done so consistently.
I was going to, this is 2 out of the last 3 games. We heard them say grit or lack thereof, or what they needed against the Wild, and then you hear lack of urgency. And so when you start to hear that, obviously we're at a point where, and I know we're not gonna. I told you all, I'm staying even keel. I'm not going one way or the other. But we're at a place where there's not going to be any more coaching changes. Like
this is it.
This is it. So if you're a player and your coach is saying we lack grit or we're lacking a sense of urgency in some areas, you have to start looking around that locker room and saying, hey, if we don't play better, guys, somebody's going to be moving. And that's the realistic nature of professional sports.
And it doesn't necessarily mean being traded to an NHL team.
Correct.
You could be winning.
Somebody's going to be moving to a different city. And if we don't play better, if we don't start moving and going in the right direction, and you never want your teammates to get cut, get waived, get traded, but that's the nature of the business. We've had 3 coaches in a 1.5-year span. Coach ain't leaving. We just got him here. One of us is going to be leaving if we don't play better. So hopefully that does light a fire under some guys. I'm still of the opinion that this is a team that is a fringe playoff team. It's not a team that is definitely going to make the playoffs or make a playoff run. They're a fringe playoff team. If everything goes right, they can make it into the playoffs. But in order to do that, you do have to play better. And if you don't, guys are going to be looking for jobs or families are going to be looking for schools in other cities. Like, that's the nature of this business. So I hope that it does strike a fire under them and they get ready to get playing better.
Well, if I heard my head coach go public with those comments, all the things that you said, Carey, whether it's the grit for the entire game or the consistency and all that stuff, or the lack of being able to close out games,
right,
I'd take that personal. I really would. And I would take it personal to the point of even making sure my teammates knew that it was personal.
Right.
And making sure that they feel the same way. Because until you're tired of having your nose rubbed in the dirt, then other teams will just continue to do it. Mm-hmm. It's when you're not willing to do that anymore that you're going to win more games and you're going to be really, really difficult to play against.
Right.
And I think the Blues have solved a lot of the issues since Monty's taken over. They are a really difficult team to play against. I hear it from all sorts of players on other teams that they're doing a real good job with their checking. There's not a lot of room out there. But you have teams that you can beat and should beat. And you've gotten 3 out of the last 4 games are teams that you should have beaten. And you didn't.
Right.
So,
do you still feel as though that the Blues can be a playoff team with what you've seen up to this point? Leave us a mic drop, the Scott Lee Heating Company mic drop via the 101 ESPN Dobstar and Auto Centers app. Leave us a mic drop. Do you still believe this Blues team can be a playoff team with what you've seen? So start to send those in. If you got thoughts on this, we'll revisit and take your mic drops and we'll play them throughout the course of the show today. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Our national championship in college football has been set. It'll be Ohio State. It'll be Notre Dame. We'll live up to the hype, and we'll also revisit some of the Cotton Bowl debacles next on 101 ESPN.
all right, St. Louis, are you out there right now and you're looking to sell your home, or you're even thinking about selling your home? Well, look at the weather outside. It is not the time to just trust anybody to try and sell your home. You're going to need somebody who knows what they're doing, and you're going to need an expert. That expert is Gloria L with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Look, Gloria has been in the business for well over 20 years, and she understands the market, especially the St. Louis market right now that's kind of all over the place. And in these weather conditions, it can be difficult to sell your home. That's why Gloria L, with her database of over thousands of ready buyers that are going to be lined up to take a look at your listing. That's what they do. It drives more traffic to your listing, more showings if that's the route that you're going with, and hopefully multiple offers, and get you the money that you want for your home. And Gloria L is going to get you to the closing table. All you have to do is trust her and give her a call. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. Again, that's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. We just got done talking about your St. Louis Blues. They lose over the weekend to the Columbus Blue Jackets by a final score of 2-1. They'll have two huge games coming up against the Calgary Flames tomorrow. You can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic, at 4:15. So stay tuned for that. We are going to dive into the Cotton Bowl. Ohio State took down Texas 28-14, and the Buckeyes will take on the Fighting Irish in the national championship. That's coming your way next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Pressure comes. Sawyer knocked it out and picks it up. Jack Sawyer headed down the sidelines. Ohio State scoop and score and dagger from 82 yards.
That certainly was ESPN on the call there. That was the dagger. I don't know if that was the dagger or maybe the toss to the running back 6 yards deep there.
Anthony, I don't even know where to begin. Okay? Now, look, Carey, you won a Super Bowl. You played professional football, college football, high school. You're a coach, all that stuff. So there's no doubt in my mind that you could have called something better on the goal line. Anthony, I've watched you. You are a championship flag football winning coach.
Thank you.
And an All-American high school player somewhere.
One of those cities.
In my own head.
You could have probably called something better there.
Yeah.
I've never coached a moment of football in my life, and I would have got that ball in that end zone. What are you doing there? What do they call that toss? Jet sweep?
Toss
sweep.
Yeah.
Toss sweep?
Yeah.
Take that play and toss it where the sun don't shine. What are you doing?
That's terrible.
At that point, your big boys have to beat their big boys. That's it. And if you lose the game on the 1 yard line, by the way, how many chances do you need on the 1 yard line?
Right.
A lot.
But if you lose the game on the 1 yard line because their big guys were just better, I can get up in front of the media at the press conference and I can be like, you know what?
Yeah.
We just didn't get it done, man. That's it.
But you can't go sideways.
Go sideways. And then a throw that was like, what the hell was that play?
Yeah.
And then the scoop and score. The wheels didn't just come off; they flew off, and I couldn't believe what I was watching in that moment.
And a really nice drive to even put yourself in that spot.
Well, you're right there in the game. That ties the game.
Yep.
And if you're not confident in Quinn Ewers there, get Archie Manning. You used him earlier in the game for a run play. Just push. You tell me you can't get in from there?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm still not over it.
I don't blame you. Yeah, you were going for Texas in that one because you
one of the teams that I picked.
Yeah, and you predicted them to win it.
Do we still know? We still don't know.
Nobody
who
has
had
any
what.
idea. Yeah,
I could have had Ohio State.
you may have.
And Notre Dame.
I didn't have either team. That's all.
I don't know.
I know I had Penn State.
I wrote
I
it
think
down.
I had I don't know who I had.
You wrote it down. Did you?
I don't know.
Did you write anybody else's?
No.
I wrote it
What
down
about me,
somewhere.
Anthony?
I gotta find it.
Don't blame me.
I think I wrote it on the.
I know you
paper
had
we
Georgia, and I know
didn't
you
have
had
Georgia.
Boise
He
State.
had
Marsh.
Georgia.
I had Georgia.
Oh, you
He
had
took
Georgia. You
Georgia
snaked it
from
from me.
me.
You had Oregon. That's what I meant.
I had
I
Oregon.
didn't snake it.
Yeah, you kind of did.
He tried to steal it from me. There was an illegal
I
wheel.
wasn't-
Had it
At the end
not
of the day, I
landed
wasn't even
on
in.
his name, you would have been. Had it landed on you, you wouldn't have said anything.
Of course.
It didn't work out for either of us.
Well, shame on you guys if you didn't notice it.
Yeah. Very true.
I think Ohio State is stout up front, and Texas realized that they were struggling to move the ball in those short yardage situations. But in my opinion, at the 1 yard line, you already ran it one time. You got stuffed. The defensive tackle was not playing in the games. He got to the backfield. You can't. I hate toss sweeps on the goal line because you're going 1 yard forward, and now you're taking it and running laterally trying to outrun a team that defensively is just as fast, maybe faster than you are. And they got to the spot before you did. It was a 7-yard loss, and now you're looking at 3rd and goal instead of from the 1, from the 7, or from the 11. Like, it just went haywire too quickly, and now you're at 4th and goal, and man, Sawyer made a hell of a play. Like, that's probably going to go down as one of the best plays in Ohio State history. That goes up there with Ezekiel Elliott running that touchdown run against Alabama, was it, for the national championship game, or to get to the whichever one. Like, those are the moments that last forever. That play will be on a loop forever, especially if they win a national championship. Just making a play and picking the ball, scooping and scoring, and nobody able to catch him. But if I'm Texas, I heard all week, and I'm with you, Jamie. I heard all week and all season how brilliant of a mind Steve Sarkisian is. And I don't want to judge him based off of one poor play call, but in that moment,
it was terrible.
The game you can't do that, right? It's just Caleb Downs came down and forced the running back to stiff arm. Once you get to one guy, it's hard to get past the next guy. He was done. It's done. So instead of just going 1 yard, and as you said, Arch Manning is your running quarterback. If you want to bring him in, zone read it, allow him to run quarterback, sweep quarterback, but anything.
Get him on the move.
You can get him on the move.
Get other people moving
option.
too.
Right.
It's a tough call, and I'm never a person, and you know this, I'm never a person to believe that one play call wins or loses a game. But in that moment, I got to get 1 yard. I can't go laterally.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really tough play for Texas to call and to lose the game in the fashion that they did. You're right there on the 1 yard line, and you end up giving away 7 points.
There wasn't even movement. I mean, there was like Jamie, you're saying there was nothing. There was no play fake. There was nothing. You did not get Ohio State moving laterally at all. I hate the fade too, because the quarterback is already in position. You have to high point it. I hate the fade. I would rather have a fade than the toss sweep on the goal line.
I'd rather just have the quarterback roll out.
Any sort of play action.
Roll out.
Any sort of boot.
Now the quarterback can go with it, or there might be somebody open because people have to move.
Or you got to throw, or throw that thing in the end zone. We'll live to fight another down. But toss sweep there, bad. Terrible. Just a terrible decision by Sarkisian, and Ohio State punches its ticket to the national championship game. Spread is 8.
I was going to say, what's the spread?
Big.
Because there's nobody that's giving the Irish a chance here, except for the Irish.
Have we had a chance to talk about the domination of the Big Ten, how they've been dominating college football for the last couple of years?
Well, Notre Dame's not in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Ohio State.
They're non-con.
Yeah, Ohio State. But, in all fairness, we do kind of consider Notre Dame a Big Ten team.
Why would you do that?
Because of where they're located. Yep. They're centrally located, right in the Midwest.
Oh, right next to Oregon.
Yeah, Notre Dame. Hey, don't worry about that, Jamie. Jamie, you're making you're making nonsense into sense. Stop that, okay?
Carey.
Don't you worry about where Oregon and Washington are located in the Big Ten. Right?
Just trying to find out.
Saying your traditional Big Ten teams. Yes, Anthony.
The MAC dominates that area. Ohio and Indiana. We're right there. I think Notre Dame's basically a MAC team. They played a MAC schedule team earlier this year.
They lost to them.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they're a MAC team. Just saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was right.
My opinion.
But do you give Notre Dame a shot? Because I do. You don't at all.
No.
So I think their defense is good enough.
I don't know.
Play good defense,
Ohio
run the ball.
State just seems like they have 7 sheets of pissed off since losing to Michigan.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. You're not wrong. Like, since they lost that game and they came out with the all red on for that Tennessee game, which Marshy hated, which I loved, they've been like, the hell with it. Fast lane it. No, and that's why they did it. Fast lane it. Whatever. We lost to Michigan, but we still got a chance to win a national championship, and they are the best. They have been the best team, obviously, throughout this college football playoffs, but they have been one of the better teams all season long. You lose to Oregon by a point. You lose a rivalry game to Michigan, which no one expected that. But from that point on, they were dominant against Tennessee.
they were beatings
dominant
on everybody
versus Oregon. And they just found a way to finish the game against Texas. Like, they're so hot right now, it's going to be hard for me to believe that they won't win this game. And Jeremiah Love, I love him. That was a hell of a run he had on the goal line. I mean, absolutely outstanding. I don't see him shaking off 4 or 5 Ohio State defenders and dragging them into the end zone.
No, not playing with a brace. I mean, he wasn't 100%. I know he leapt over the one defender, but he doesn't look.
It was a gutsy game by him. It was a gutsy effort by the Irish, but when the spread is 8, like it's telling a story, and the not just the spread, but the eyeball test too is telling a story.
Yeah.
Like I love if Notre Dame wins, I'll be thrilled because I love the underdog. But I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'll give love to Chip Kelly as well because that game against Michigan might have been one of the worst games I've seen him call. Like, it was very conservative.
Yeah.
It was very, we're playing Michigan. It was almost like we don't want to show anything for the Big Ten championship game, and you got your butt kicked. Like, that game, to me, the play calling, I'm like, what are they doing?
I just think they underestimated Michigan, and they didn't put together a good game plan.
I think, maybe, and again, they were probably preparing for for Oregon in the Big Ten championship game.
That's a good point.
Kind of overlooking Michigan and got kicked in the face, like, to your rival. And from that point on, I feel like they have been playing outstanding. Like, they're just saying, we have better athletes than most teams we play. We have more grit, and we're tougher, and we're going to show you. And that's what they've done throughout this college football playoff.
Justin?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Carey's been super high on the Big Ten, and we got a text from the 314. How is Carey doing after the Steelers loss?
Oh, wow.
Listen.
Wow.
Let's get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Carey, defend yourself. If you love sports betting, then I have the perfect app for you. That is Circa Sports Illinois. It's completely user-friendly. You can bet on your favorite teams and players with ease. It's sports betting the way it really should be. And they've got exceptional customer service as well. So if you have a problem, you get to talk to a real person, not a bot. And my buddy Derek Stevens, who owns Circa Las Vegas, he had this vision a long time ago of creating the world's largest sports book in Vegas. Well, now they put it in the palm of your hand, and it's awesome. It's so easy to use. They've got great lines on all their futures bets. They've got tight money line splits, which is great. They have the best odds, by the way, too, of any app that's out there. Check it out, any app, and compare them. You'll find the best odds with Circa Sports Illinois. And they don't use promos. They don't need them. The promo is in the price as well as the payout. There's no betting limits, and you're just going to love it. So many great plays. And again, they have the best odds, which means the best payouts for you. So please don't miss out on any of the action. Download and bet like a pro with your Circa Sports Illinois app today and join in on the excitement. If you're someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
forget to send in your mic drops to the Scott Lee Heating Company mic drop via the 101 ESPN Dobbs Star and Auto Center's app.
Sorry.
Can you or no?
Oh, I can, yeah.
Okay.
What happened?
314. We're not even into this segment yet. 314 says, so glad we don't have to hear that Steelers going to the Super Bowl. Wow, Carey.
You know, what are you doing?
I mean, I agree, but wow, Carey.
You loved it, Jamie. You loved it.
Oh.
You were singing it at work.
No.
You were singing it on the broadcast with
was.
JK. You and him were, you here we go. And he was like, what is that?
JK gave me that look that he gives me all
what are
the
you
time.
doing?
He does it once a game where I'll say something, too, that is like, it's not quite fast lane, but certainly not FanDuel.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the middle.
Sure.
And he'll just pause and look at me and then be like, and Shen in the corner with the puck.
Just he looks at you just to know I heard it.
Yeah, almost like, well, what do you want me to do with that now? Like, John, I don't care.
Just keep the feet
enjoy
moving.
it. Savor it.
Again, though, don't forget to send in your mic drops. Do you still believe the Blues can be a playoff team with what you've seen up until this point? Again, leave us a mic drop. All right, Carey. I mean, you kind of had to see that one coming.
Well, I did indeed pick the Ravens in our Pick'em Challenge.
Yeah, and by the way, we don't know. Somebody just asked who won the Pick'em Challenge. All we've been told is that it's going to come down to tonight. We submitted our picks, they submitted theirs, and it's under lock and key. We have no idea who
Mike
they
Ryder's
picked.
holding all of the answers.
The only thing that we know is that it's going to be like tonight.
Yep.
Tonight.
It's going to come down to tonight.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, you know, when you give up 188 yards, 190 yards to one running back, that's usually not a good sign. And this is a team that is pretty good defensively. They do a really good job of holding rushers. You gave up almost 300 yards rushing, man. Essentially, you did give up 300 yards rushing. I don't know if Lamar took a knee at the end of the game that may have dropped his total back under 1 yard, which put him at 299. But you gave up 300 yards rushing to one of the best teams in the league.
Hey, if you're going to do it, it's either Saquon or Derrick Henry and Lamar, right?
Here's the thing. It's not a recipe for success. And you only had 29 yards rushing on the other side. So, to me, you got out to a slow start. You gave up 14 points. It was 14-0 before you could blink, and then it was 21-0. And now you're looking at a team that has had trouble passing the ball, especially the last 4. You lost 5 games in a row. The last 4 weeks going into the playoffs, you were on a 4-game losing skid. You had an opportunity there to win the division, maybe find a way to be the second seed had you taken care of all of your business.
And I forgot that was still on the table.
That was on the line at one point.
Yeah.
And you fall all the way to, what was the 5th or 6th seed? 6th seed.
6.
And you have to travel to your rival in Baltimore, who has, I don't know, one of the best players to ever play the game at quarterback, who's looking to be a 3-time MVP.
And another guy who's one of the best running backs.
He just is not a human being running the football. I don't know where they created this person from. It's ridiculous. So you didn't give yourself you didn't give yourself a chance to win. The frustrating part for me, and I think this has been mentioned time and time again about coordinators that have coached for Mike Tomlin. I don't think any of them go on to get head coaching jobs. Bruce Arians was one, right? He was an OC who went on to become a head coach and have success. Yeah. Defensive coordinators, no. Offensive coordinators, no.
Yeah, why is that?
It's like Belichick.
It's a very good. Well, his coordinators at one point were getting jobs.
Yeah, but they're not good at their job.
Well, they were at least getting head jobs. Josh McDaniels got a head coaching job.
How did that go?
Charlie Weiss, he had got, but
pencil guy,
Matt Patricia.
That didn't go well either.
No,
but his coordinators don't go on and have success elsewhere. They're never in the conversation for head coaching jobs.
Right.
And so I think that's one of the levels of frustration that you're hearing from Steeler fans. The coordinator position has not been great. The offensive schemes and play calling has not been great. They were chanting "Fire Matt Canada" at a damn Penguins game. You know how mad you got to be watching Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and say "Fire Matt Canada"? You know how mad you are? You're at the damn hockey hockey game. You know, you're not there to talk about the stuff. They're yelling, "Fire Matt Canada!"
In case anybody was listening, they wanted to be heard.
They wanted you to know.
In case anybody was there.
And he eventually got fired. And you go with old Artie. Artie. And I tried. Anthony, I tried to not listen to you. I tried my best. I tried to give old Arthur the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And for a few weeks there it did. Russell Wilson came in. They were able to pass the ball. They have to figure. I don't know if Russell comes back. I don't know if you go to Justin Fields. I don't know what the hell you do. I don't know if you get a quarterback in the draft. There's probably not going to be one available because you're at probably 18 or 19. This is the problem.
Again,
this is the problem.
This has been the issue.
With never having a losing season, but never having the big winning season. Right? This is the issue where you're right there in the middle, just above middle, and you're always drafting 18, 19, 20, and you're never able to draft 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So they got to figure something out. I don't know if they run it back with Russell. I don't know if they try to find something, some playmakers in the draft. I think defensively they're fine, but yesterday, this weekend was not a good game. You can't give up 300 yards rushing and expect to win.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I'm going to pass it off to you in a second. I'm actually going to give you props right now, Anthony. As you said, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, don't overthink it. Give Derrick Henry the ball and Lamar. We talked about the double threat from the backfield as Lamar and Derrick Henry, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
Those two guys won the game for them because they only had 175 yards passing. Nothing huge there. One touchdown to Rashad Bateman. But the lion's share was Derrick Henry with 186, Lamar Jackson with 81 yards, and that was the game.
I think my guy Isaiah Likely led the team in receiving, right? 3 catches, something.
As he should.
Yeah, my man.
He's a lifesaver.
He steps up.
That's your favorite player, isn't it?
He's my favorite player in the Ravens. Yeah, he's awesome. So that was built off a question of hey, Zay Flowers isn't going to play, and that I was like, hey, don't worry about it. Don't even throw it.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Going back to the Steelers, the tough part is, Carey, exactly what you just said. If you're always picking 18, you eventually just have to say, okay, we're gonna have to sacrifice some of these draft picks and do what the Rams did for Jared Goff.
Trade.
Do what some of these other teams you're gonna have to go all the way up.
That's the problem with Pittsburgh. They're never a trade for a player or trade for a draft. It's draft and develop. It's draft and develop. And going out and signing 2 quarterbacks this offseason, one being your starter. But they didn't have to put a lot of money into Russell Wilson because the Broncos are paying the bulk of his salary. 98, 99% of what he's making. So you didn't have to spend a lot on either one of those guys. And so it's okay in free agency. They've never been a team to go and spend big money in free agency on a player, on an impact player. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that philosophy changes because you are not going to get that impact player early in the draft. So I don't know what the plan is or how they go about that.
One final thing. Maybe you guys saw something different, but in that first half, it felt like they weren't prepared either. They looked dead. That was not a Steelers team that any of us are accustomed to. Now, in the second half, they started, Russ, when the big George Pickens touchdown, he finally showed up. He made a great play, a sensational play in between 2 defenders to score the touchdown. They had a little life in the second half, but in the first half, they looked like they were just dead on arrival, man. And typically, you just don't see that. It's almost like they were resigned to their fate in Baltimore on Saturday night. And under Mike Tomlin, you just don't. They've been beaten, and they've been beaten soundly. But
to
not
lose
like that.
5 games in a row, when you're a playoff, and again, you still made the playoffs, right? You still had a winning season. But to lose 5 games, 4 games in December, and then that December and January, and then lose a playoff game, that's not Steeler football. It's not what you're accustomed to. You expect them to win games and have more success than what they've had the last month and a half.
That's Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, Justin Jefferson is here ahead of tonight's Rams and Vikings game.
Shouldn't you be
in Glendale, Arizona?
I got him a charter. He's fine.
Shouldn't you be out of town?
Yeah, we get the private bird thanks to Jamie. We'll be in Glendale before kickoff.
There you go. Yeah, Justin, we appreciate you showing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know you got a lot to do today, but you just being here representing the Vikings, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
Marshy's going to wear that helmet the whole Sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well, I gotta get in the zone and think about the routes that I'm gonna run tonight. I'm gonna run all over that defense.
There you go.
And
It's
if
a
I
sweet
get
helmet.
stopped tonight, we got other guys there that can catch the ball.
That's
Love
right.
it.
Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson,
Just got to make sure
Naylor.
that's on target
and
not above my head.
and the cornerback, or linebacker for that matter, absolutely mugging you.
Yeah.
Yeah. May have
Play
happened.
through it.
May have happened a couple times in Detroit last week. The Air Comfort Service tax line is 314-399-9646. If you have a question for us, we got our Blues Qs coming up next. So Blues-related questions, send them in. 314-399-9646. Blues Qs next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Now, it's time for the Fast Lane's Blues Cues.
Is that on there?
A little bit.
My bad.
That's Carey Davis. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter.
I do it all the time.
Forget when the button is it.
Don't worry about it. People understand.
fine.
They get it.
Yeah, no. My bad.
Those old days of, they know. They already know we're not perfect. Come on.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right, it's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. 304, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Justin Jefferson in for Andrew Marsh today.
Yes.
And he's got your Blues-related questions here in the Fast Lane.
Well, I really like this first question from the 314. What is the Blues' scoring identity and what makes it so boom or bust?
Their scoring identity, I think, is just a team speed. that they have this year, when you look at, every guy who's scoring here recently, they're playing with speed. That line with Holloway and Kyrou, those guys are speedsters. Braden Shen's a good skater. He's not a speedster. Robert Thomas can fly around the ice. So Pavel Buchnevich is a decent skater. So for me, I think that they're generating a lot from using their speed. And they're finishing right now for the most part. But they still have to create a more offensive zone-based offense. We're talking to Jim Montgomery quite a bit, and Monty wants this team to get back to cycling the puck more, keeping the puck down low, working the opposition. When you do that, you either create goal-scoring opportunities or you draw penalties when you have extended periods of time in the offensive zone. And also, the Blues defensemen, they really help. Like, they don't have a Cale Makar or Quinn Hughes or like one of those huge names, but the whole group of them join the attack all the time. Broberg's up the ice all the time. Pareko's up the ice. Justin Falk's up the ice. Fowler's up the ice. So that adds another layer of offense. Either they in on the scoring or they keep the puck in or make a play that creates more scoring.
From the 636, if Ryan O'Reilly is on the trade block, would Doug Armstrong inquire?
Oh, wow. I think I don't want to speak for Army. I'm going to how about I play the game if I was GM of the Blues or president of hockey operations, because who knows what Army wants to do when it comes to Ryan O'Reilly. But when I look at this team right now, they've got $4 million in cap space, and Ryan O'Reilly's $4.5 million. So you'd have to move on from a player, which I don't think that would be a problem if you're bringing in Ryan O'Reilly. What player? I have no idea. Again, that's a question for Doug Armstrong. But here's where I go with it. Right now, down the center, you've got Thomas, Shen, Sundqvist, and Faksa. Okay, you're solid down the middle. But what if you had Thomas, O'Reilly, Shen, and a version of Faksa or Sundqvist? All of a sudden, you've gotten better. What are two things that are suffering right now for your team? Your penalty kill and your power play.
Yep.
Ryan O'Reilly plays both of those. And he did a really good job while playing here in St. Louis, playing both of those.
And he'd have a very specific role.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe you ask Nashville if it's a trade. Maybe ask them, can you retain $1 million of the salary? Help me out here. I don't know. For me, it would be worth the discussion both with Nashville and internally, too. Find out what Jim Montgomery likes, because Ryan O'Reilly's not going to come in and give you speed. It's just not, right? So, and this team seems like it's thriving with speed. But again, can you flank the wings with some players that are speedsters with Ryan O'Reilly? And then you have that Braden Shen line to where it doesn't really matter how fast Braden Shen is. You've got the two speedsters on the wing. I think it's worth a discussion. Who knows?
From the 618, how in the hell does your goal scorer, Jordan Kyrou, go a whole game without a shot on goal?
Yeah, that's not great. It's not great. He had plenty of opportunities, too. And, Jordan Kyrou sometimes becomes his own worst enemy when he starts to overthink things a little bit. Like, let's go back to last game. Blues have it's a one-on-one into a two-on-one where Braden Shen is late to create the two-on-one. Jordan Kyrou has the puck. He's flying up the ice. He slows right down to a stop. And now the whole world knows he's going to pass that puck because he's got no momentum moving forward, and he's got a good shot, but most of the time, if you're flat-footed, the shot shouldn't beat the goalie. So as a defenseman, I see that. I know his only play is the pass at this point. What happened? Passed, got it deflected, taken away. Keep your afterburners on right there. Take it to the net and score. You're the team's top scorer. Score the goal.
Yeah.
So that's what happened the other night for me, was Jordan Kyrou was looking for other options, which he shouldn't. Like, if I'm Jim Montgomery, and I know Jim says this to him, is you are the best option. You're our top goal scorer. You're our top point getter. In those situations, you are the best option. Shoot the puck.
Next one comes from Jamie's Vacation Speedo.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Surprised we didn't get a Carey's Vacation Speedo.
I'm surprised Carey didn't wear one.
Where's
That's more of your thing.
Where's your picture of it?
I don't. Well, I don't have one.
No. I'm just saying, when Jamie goes on vacation, he sends it. Sends his picture.
We didn't get one.
I don't own a
not yet.
Vacation Speedo.
Just wait.
All right. All right, I'm excited.
We have a Speedo party at the Rivers house this summer.
There you go. Good.
All right, so this one comes from Not Carey's Vacation Speedo.
You're welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Do you think we see Jake Neighbors move back to the top line next game to replace Sod, seeing that the second line is kind of set at the moment?
Has all Vacation Speedo been on Twitter today? Were they at the Centene Community Ice Center? Because it was reported today. In fact, it was factual. Jake Neighbors was back on the top line.
What?
Yeah, and Sod was dropped down to the third line.
Wow. Look at that.
So, I mean, Vacation Speedo knows what's going on. So, yeah, I think it's possible.
I would say likely.
Yes. Uh-oh.
He's got a good one.
Justin's laughing over there.
No, I just can't read it. I'm sure Carey would enjoy the text from the 636.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
All right, moving on from the 314.
They make varying sizes.
The 314 also echoes what you said, Jamie, about the struggling special teams. What do you think of putting Colton Parayko at the face-off dot for one-timers, Ovechkin-ish, on the power play?
No. He's not that player. Like, I don't know how many times I have to explain this to everybody, including other people in the hockey world. You're either wired a certain way to be that guy like Ovi, or you're wired to be a quarterback on the power play. Just because you're a very talented player and have a hard shot doesn't mean that's going to translate into goal scoring. I know people think what Ovi does is easy. Oh, he just stands there and shoots the puck. He's going to be the best goal scorer of all time. Like, it's not easy. Look at the guys who do that, by the way. Look at the guys who do that. Ovi, Stamkos, Crosby, Cole Caulfield. Like, these are all guys that are elite. They don't have, like, Robert Johnson on the, you're going to be the one-timer guy because I saw you shoot the puck hard one day. No, it doesn't work that way. There's timing. There's talent behind it. There's all sorts of things that go on in that one spot. And Colton Parayko, I've said this before. I explained it in depth one day, I think, to Chris Kerber, is look at Colton Parayko when he shoots the puck. He's very methodical with it. Why? Because his flex on his stick is so low. It's whippy, so that he gets a good wrist shot on net. So when he takes that slap shot, he doesn't necessarily know where it's going because the stick, it's like a golf club that's too whippy for you. You seem to push everything because your hand speed is way too ahead of the club head, and you kind of push. Well, with Colton Parayko, it's a lot like that too. So when he does take his slap shot, he does slow down on his windup and kind of lets the stick do the work. But when you're in that one-timer spot, it's twist the hips, grip, and rip. You better have an idea like where it's going, though, because you might kill someone. One of your own teammates, too.
Potentially.
It's possible.
Dalibor Dvorsky, not Dalibor Dvorsky,
He's good at it, too.
Zach Bolduc has a wicked
guy.
shot. He could be that guy.
And he is that guy right now on that one unit. I think that they're figuring out, like, where to go with that. For me, like, and I'm not in those meetings, so I don't know. But we talked about it last week, like your plays, like your reads as a quarterback. So if I'm the defenseman on the blue line, my first read on that power play is Zach Bolduc for the one-timer. How do we get him the one-timer for the most success? Well, it's easy for me. I'm going to work it back and forth on the other side over here. We'll give it to the bumper, back out. So now everything kind of gets sucked over to that side of the ice. And then comes up top, I'm going right to Bolduc for a one-timer uncontested. And usually that's going to set you up for at least a good goal-scoring opportunity.
But you got to make the first pass, though, right? We've seen sometimes this team, they put passes in skates, and it kind of slows that momentum down on the power play.
I'm telling you this right now. Brett Hull would have slashed somebody over the head at this point. Because, one, very seldom could you give Brett a bad pass because he was such an elite player. But his biggest pet peeve was horse bleep passes on the power play. He's like, never mind passing it to give it to a guy. Set him up for success. If you pass it behind him, he can't go to the net now. Right. Pass it in front of him. He can handle the puck. He's got the net. He's got the player. He can do anything he wants with it. But when you give him a crap pass, you're basically telling him, like, I don't care about you scoring. I don't care about my team scoring.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. You have to take pride in your passing, and the execution is huge. If you can't execute properly, you're just not going to score goals.
That's Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Justin Jefferson. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey gets to, I guess to tell me I told you so. At least on one player. Next on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter back with you for Underdog Fantasy. I was looking at tonight's matchup. You got the Vikings, you got the Rams. It's the last wild card round, and I'm going to play at Underdog Fantasy. With their Champions game, you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats like yards and touchdowns, interceptions. So I built a little fantasy team for myself tonight here. Justin Jefferson, higher than 6.5 receptions. I think he's going to have a big game. Same thing with Puka Nacua. 7.5 receptions is the number. I'm going higher on that number as well, and I'm going to go higher on Matthew Stafford throwing for over 244.5 yards. When it comes to the playoffs, Sean McVay likes to put the ball in the air, so that's my team that I built at Underdog Fantasy. You can choose your own, though, and you can win a ton of money, too. Underdog's the only Champions platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. Now that you can, let's just say I'm one player short tonight, I can cash out at any point. It's up to me. Just hit the win now button to cash out whenever you want. Plus, if one of these guys get hurt tonight early in the game, I'll get my entry fee back because Underdog has their Underdog Rescues play where they just say, you know what, not fair. Player gets hurt early in the first quarter or something like that. They're going to give you your entry fee back plus give you a promo on top of that. I don't know any other site that does that. If you want to play Underdog, Underdog is the best place to play Champions. Download the app, sign up with my promo code, which is Anthony. Pretty easy, right? Anthony. Deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Again, just by using the promo code Anthony. Must be 18 or older, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. So all season, Carey Davis has been telling me that Justin Herbert stinks, and it took all season. But Carey, you were right.
Yeah.
You were absolutely
it's
right.
not about who's right or what's
That's
right.
not what you were saying the other day when you texted me after that game.
Well, I told you how I like my Justin Herbert, Anthony.
Yeah.
How do I like him?
Under 30.
Under 30 passes. How many passes attempts did he have, Anthony?
Oh, I don't know.
32.
But two too many.
Nah,
3 too many.
probably the 3 that he threw to the other team.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
He had a touchdown.
Yeah, that's good. That helps you. Your first 5
To
drives,
Houston.
you got 6 points, and your defense was playing outstanding.
Yeah.
Like, your defense gave you a chance until they gave up that first touchdown. You had multiple opportunities to put points on the board. You get into the red zone or down near the red zone the first couple of drives. You only get 6 points out of it. And then the Chargers have a really good offensive line. You know, they got some guys up front. They were unable to keep pressure out of Herbert's face.
Yeah.
And so anytime you start having pressure in your face, especially when it's early in the game, now you start to create kind of happy feet in that pocket for the quarterback where it feels like they're there before they actually are because they've gotten to you. They've put you on the ground a few times. I thought that first couple of drives, the Chargers did a really good job of play action passes, running the ball, doing the things that help Herbert. But when you sit back in that pocket and that defensive line is able to create pressure, Will Anderson is a man. He's starting to really show himself to be, you know, one of those guys on the defensive side. It makes it hard for you offensively.
Yeah.
And then you start creating pressure on the quarterback and you start throwing the ball to the other team. Like, and that's essentially what it is. I'm not a Justin Herbert hater like you think. I'm just not a Justin Herbert lover like you are. He's a top 12 quarterback in my opinion. And if you throw the ball more than 30, like you 14 for 32 is terrible.
Yeah.
3 of those to the other team. Like, that's not going to get it done. My Justin Herbert that I like is around 21 for 28 with 250 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and we ran it for 180 to 250 yards. That's a championship recipe for the Chargers because they have a really good defense. But I can't throw the ball 30-plus times and only complete 14 of them. That's not a recipe for success, but it does start up front, and they allow too much pressure early in the game to get into Herbert's face, and you're a human. Like, your natural instinct is, oh, crap, here they come again, gotta go.
Yeah.
And now you're not able to go through your progression, or you're so concerned, maybe you start looking at the rush and not keeping your eyes downfield as to who's going to be open and when they're going to be open, and you're throwing it to the other team. They don't even wear dark blue. I don't know what he's doing, right? They got baby blue, right? You don't have. Well, they had the '90s dark blue, maybe the Junior Seau jerseys.
Yeah.
And maybe he's thrown off by
confused.
that. You know?
Yeah.
Nah,
I don't think so.
not great.
He stunk.
Yeah, okay.
Justin Herbert was terrible.
Thank you.
He was terrible in that game. There's no question. J.K. Dobbins rushing for 26 yards didn't help. That offense, you talk about the offensive line not protecting Herbert, they didn't get any push either. At one point, I thought J.K. Dobbins was hurt.
Just unable.
I thought he was hurt. I'm like, oh, they're not going to him because he's hurt. What's his face there? Gus Edwards had a couple of runs. I'm like, oh, Dobbins must be hurt again.
Yeah.
I don't think he was. I just think that Houston did such a great job stuffing him that it didn't matter. I will say this. If we're going to say that Washington, this is going, theoretically, it's going to be their worst team.
Yeah.
In the next 3 or 4 years, right? Chargers, same deal. Nobody had the Chargers in the playoffs.
No,
he's throwing to Lad McConkey, who is a very good player. But that's it.
Yeah.
Will Dissly and whatever Quentin Johnston is
from week to week.
Yeah. Like, that was it. So the Chargers will build up. Harbaugh's a really, really good coach. I like Herbert. I don't think he's top 12. I think he's anywhere from 6 to 8. Like, I still think Herbert's really good. But ultimately, he was terrible on Saturday. And that playoff narrative, unfortunately for him, is going to continue to follow him. And good on Houston's defense.
Yeah.
D'Amico Ryans coached the hell out of that game. That game plan, we talk about the Texas game plan falling short, or maybe it was Chip Kelly's game plan against Michigan. What the hell was that?
Yep.
D'Amico Ryans' game plan for the Chargers was outstanding.
It's, again, if you can get pressure with 4 without having the blitz, linebackers, that means you can drop 7. You can drop 7 into coverage, or you can have, man-to-man and have 2 safeties. Whatever you want to do defensively, it gives you more options. And, again, if you're able to get after the quarterback in the manner in which they were, especially early in the game, it makes it just changes so many things. It shifts the mindset for that quarterback and how he's going to. Will Anderson had a sack and a half, but it feels like more than that because now you're like, where is he coming from? Why is he here every time I drop back and get to my 3rd or 5th step? There's someone here. and pressure up the middle, it impacts a quarterback at a level that it's hard to explain. So they did a great job of creating pressure, putting pressure in his face, having people in his face. And now, as you get later in the game, you start to see those errant throws. You start to see those happy feet from the quarterback, and it makes life hard on him.
Anthony, a lot of people on the internet say that Justin Herbert is a social media quarterback. Do any of you guys agree with that?
So
Meaning by what? What do you mean by that? Do tell.
That like all of his great plays are highlighted on like X or Instagram or all these
every
other
quarterback.
things. Nah, but there's some quarterbacks where you watch the game and you're like, this guy's a football player, man.
And then some people are like, eh.
And then you see Justin Herbert and you're like, oh, that's a really good throw.
And
Social media.
Yeah. You only see the highlights. You know what, Marcia, I agree with you.
He still made the throw, though, right?
Nah,
Am I confused?
but if you watch the entire game, you see the faults and the flaws of a quarterback. I think that's what, in life, when you have social media, I tell my kids that I coach all the time, don't get so enamored by social media. It's just the highlights of people's lives.
Right.
You don't get to see the downside.
the lowlights.
No, it's mostly...
No, there's some people that all they do is post like, wah, wah, wah.
It's true.
I'm like,
James, right.
That's usually on Facebook,
Facebook.
That is Facebook.
This is 12
Facebook.
days in a row where I sucked at my job and my boss is mad at me.
Kids
Hope
you
you guys are having a great day.
I locked my keys in the car again. Yeah, I do have to delete Facebook every now and then because it is kind of woe is me. But kids nowadays, they aren't on Facebook. They're on the IG, as they call the Snapchat, the TikTok.
Yeah.
And those are just the highlights.
The snap face.
Yeah, that too.
The Instacart.
Insta-
you
all
say
that.
it.
Yeah, they're on that. They're not on the Facebook like us older guys.
The Facebook.
The
yeah.
Facebook.
So
what do
you're
you mean
only
by that?
seeing the highlights. We're older guys.
You're on with old people again.
I said me too. Hell,
I don't care.
I'm an older gentleman.
I don't like
I
that
got
for
gray.
you, Carey.
You got gray?
Do I?
Yeah, you got a lot. As do I. I don't even have any
He
up
was
top.
attacking me again.
Yeah, you're all right.
He goes, oh, you got great. You've got a lot. Oh, you feel better about yourself?
It's only because I cut mine. Yeah.
The younger generation, they do go on Facebook, but that's more of like the cleaned up version of themselves for their family.
Do you know what they do on Facebook? These kids, these teenagers are like friggin' FBI. My daughter, my 16-year-old daughter, gets on Facebook and she can find anybody. Doesn't even need a name. And then all of a sudden, a picture, swap a picture. All of a sudden, you got a name. I mean, why'd you do that? She's like, I don't know. I just do it. I'm like, yeah, that's like some genius stuff that you're able to do.
FBI is in the future.
I went on my Facebook right. I was like, geez, you better clean up your crap here.
She's going to find out.
No,
She already knows.
But it's funny. I was like she'll have people that she meets, like a soccer coach or doesn't know anything about. All of a sudden, he's got his Facebook page up. Oh, he's got 2 daughters that play. I mean, I'm like, what the hell?
Be careful.
Seriously.
Smokes. Anyways, no, I don't think Justin Herbert is the face chat app quarterback of the NFL.
You watched that game this weekend.
He stunk. I don't know what you want from me. He stunk. I said it. He stunk.
But he threw a touchdown to Lad McConkey.
He did throw a TD.
And that was a cool throw, a cool catch.
Yeah.
I'm sure it got a lot of likes.
Oh, come on.
It definitely. Now, that's what he's talking about.
What about the one, the Houston defender?
They don't post those. They only post the highlights. Damn it. You watch the highlights.
McKinnon can find that one. McKinnon Rivers can find it. Sure he has. That's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Well, we asked for your Blues mic drops earlier. Do you still believe in this team, that they can make a playoff run, or when it comes to like what you've seen up to this point, you don't believe? That's next on 101 ESPN. You're going to find your next new ride at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. Right now, throughout the month of January, they got their New Year, New Keys sales event going on, and they've got over 700 new and used vehicles, all in one location, all out in Herculaneum, with heavily discounted prices on every vehicle in stock. New Nissans at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, discounted up to $11,000 off, with several brand new models priced under $30K. Every 2025 Nissan model in stock also comes with their lifetime warranty and 3 free oil changes. Plus, you get that peace of mind coverage with their 30-day return promise. So you get peace of mind with the lifetime warranty. You get peace of mind with the 30-day return promise. If you bring it back within 30 days because you're not completely satisfied with the vehicle, they will refund your money and they'll set you up with something else. But 0 down and no payments for 3 months on select used vehicles, or no payments for 6 months on select new Nissans, going on right now at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. Start online. Go to AutoCentersNissan.com. When you head out to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lost over the weekend to the Columbus Blue Jackets by a final score of 2-1. They'll take on the Calgary Flames tomorrow night, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with our Blues insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, at 4:15. So stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we're going to dive into your mic drops. We asked a question earlier. Do you still believe the Blues can be a playoff team with what you've seen up until this point? We'll get into those mic drops next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I believe the Blues are a playoff team. I think they can get there. We just need to hire like a Matt Foley personality, to really motivate them. Young man, what do you want to do with your life? Just get them in there, get them fired up. I don't know what their problem is. I just don't understand no intensity or no sense of urgency. But that's just my thoughts.
That was Ryan who left us a mic drop via the Scott Lee Heating Company mic drop feature on our 101 ESPN app, brought to you by Dobbs Tire Auto Centers. He was talking about the motivational speaker, Matt Foley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did some great work.
Axel's brother.
Used to live in a van down by the river.
Axel.
No, it's not. No.
We don't know, Anthony. You always say no, but you don't know.
You don't. Actually,
on this one, I know.
I don't think you do.
You don't know if it's
people
Axel's
are
brother.
adopted too, like you don't know, like
same last name, same household.
Thank you, Carey.
Same upbringing.
I don't know why you just paint everyone with a brush.
Because
it's impossible they can be related.
Different? They look different
A little bit, but Carey, guess what? I look different than my brother.
There you go. See?
Do you think that?
Go ahead, Anthony.
Do you think that Eddie Murphy looks anything like Chris Farley?
Well, we'd have to see.
You gotta see them up close.
Yeah.
Have you seen them? Have you ever seen them together side by side?
They're both funny.
There you go. They got humor.
They grew up making jokes back and forth with each other.
Same household.
Yeah.
Same people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I see it now.
There you go.
Here's DJ who left us a mic drop on whether or not the Blues are a playoff team in his eyes.
Hey, fellas, you asked. No, I do not see this team as a playoff team. As much as I love the Blues and bleed every time they lose, this team is going nowhere. Whoa. They've got way too much to overcome. They're way too inconsistent, and it breaks my heart because I don't know where to point the finger at anymore. Kyrie's improved. Binnington's regressed a little bit. But that killer instinct that was brought up by Monty, it's just not there. And I don't know who to put the finger on. And I don't know who we could move, even though it looks like that may end up being the only choice we have to get a different killer mindset in there. I don't know. I'm at a loss, but I know that this team lacks what it takes to go on a serious run, which is what they're going to have to do in order to make the playoffs.
I think that last part is incredibly fair.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And actually, the whole thing is true. Because that's what the Blues have shown you so far. So whether it's true or not that they lack the urgency, it doesn't matter. It's what the perception is of how they've played. Mm-hmm. And now you have the head coach talking about maybe the urgency a little bit there. So as soon as people hear the head coach, they get hyper-focused on, this team doesn't have the grit. They don't have this. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means that they don't have enough of it or they're not aware enough of games that they should be winning. But I'll just go back to the facts, which are numbers. They're not sexy. Some people think they are, but...
Yeah, those people are... Never mind.
Yeah. The Blues are 4 points out of a playoff spot right now. They're chasing the Vancouver Canucks. The Colorado Avalanche are, I think that's too far. I think the second wild card is attainable. They're 4 points behind the Vancouver Canucks, who have, by the way, they got a lot going on up there. They've got this player versus player in the dressing room, and someone's getting traded, and goaltenders hurt again. And the Calgary Flames, who are 3 points ahead of you, you got them here twice this week. So you could leapfrog them with 2 wins. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, you're probably 2 points behind the Canucks because they'll probably rattle off a win somewhere. You're in the dance, man. You're right there, able to be a playoff team, which is why, to the end of that mic drop of going on a run and making yourself, make it known that you're going to be a playoff team. You can't be 2 games, two wins, 3 losses, 2 wins, 2 losses. It just can't be that way. Just can't.
Yeah, eventually you have to put together a bit of a streak here so that you know it's capable. To let you know that it's possible, that you're capable of doing it. Mm-hmm. You've seen it. You've done it. You can refer back to it. But unfortunately for the Blues, right now they haven't done that.
No,
not yet.
Not yet.
Let's hear from Grant Francis's fan club.
I don't think this Blues roster as constructed can make the playoffs, and here's why. I love what they did during the offseason to upgrade the D, but our forwards are just still well below par. You've seen Shen, Booch, and Saad regress, probably because of aging, and the young players haven't really stepped up to fill that void. I don't think this team has one elite forward, and I think that shows in the fact that we can't kill penalties or score on the power play. I don't know how many teams would trade their top guy for Robert Thomas, but that's probably a pretty short list. So until they boost our forward core, I don't think this team has what it takes.
What do you think from a roster construction standpoint?
Well, obviously you just have to continue to build this roster. I don't necessarily agree that they don't have an elite forward. I think that if you asked around the NHL, there's plenty of teams that would like to have a few of your guys. No, that usually tells a story. Do they have a dynamic player like the McDavids, the McKinnons, the Matthews? No, they don't. I mean, Robert Thomas has still yet to even get 90 points in this league, let alone 100-plus points as a player. But, his game has evolved. He's a good two-way player now, kills penalties, power play. And, right now the power play, as much as we knock it, I think the month of December, the power play was like 20%, which is not fantastic, but it's better than the 16% that they're showing overall on the season.
Right.
So there has been a small uptick there. It still needs work, there's no doubt. But the roster, you're looking at a team right now that is transitioning into an everyday competitive team. The Holloways have really helped that. Bolduc has helped that. Broberg has helped that. Dvorsky will help that. Snuggerud will help that. Stenberg will help that. Lindstein will help that. And I'm not even into the Czech players yet. You're going to have 6 players probably that are impact players on this roster in the next 2 to 4 years. Mm-hmm. That's going to change things a lot.
So
he
mentioned Booch, and do you think Booch is having a good year? He just got the contract. I'm not saying a great year. Obviously, Anthony, we know your thoughts on it, given what you said last week about him not being able to score, and then he did. Maybe you just need to say that more. But, Jamie, what do you think?
Especially when I pick him.
That's
Welcome,
true.
Carey.
Do you think Booch is having the year that people expected him to have?
No, obviously not. I mean, you'd ask Pavel Buchnevich, he'll tell you himself that he's not having the year that he's won. He's only got 29 points in 42 games. This is supposed to be a 65, 70-point player. Mm-hmm. In fact, at the money that you're giving him starting next year, he should be an 80 to 85-point player. Mm-hmm. But I'll also go back to the start of the year where he played how many games as a centerman? A position he hasn't played?
Too many.
Like, for real? He got thrown in there at the end of last year. He got thrown in there when Craig Berube was here. But none of that has helped the player. And if he can't help the player, how can he help you win more games or put up more points? Do I like his season so far? No. I mean, it's fine. Mm-hmm. But, again, I think if you talk to Booch, he wants more from himself. And at $8 million next year, he's going to want a heck of a lot more for himself. And the Army's going to want more from him. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a premium that's being paid. He's being paid the same as Kyrou and Thomas, yet he's 11 or 10 points behind Kyrou, and he's, 5 points behind, or 4 points behind Robert Thomas, but Thomas has played 32 games and Booch has played 42.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna ask. Grant Francis fan club mentioned that this team doesn't have a star at the forward position. In order for this team to reach those levels, is it Jordan Kyrou that has to be the star? Like the elite goal scorer?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But, Carey, here's what I'm going to go back to again. Who the hell was the star in 2019 when you won a Stanley Cup? Who was it?
Gloria.
Ryan O'Reilly.
No, but was he? Let's go back.
He did win the Conn Smythe.
No, let's go back just for a second here because it's very interesting to go over this. In 82 games, how many points do you think Ryan O'Reilly had in 2018-2019?
Probably 64.
77. He was your top scorer. Is that elite?
No.
It's not. Vladimir Tarasenko, 68 points in 76 games. Is that elite? No. They were your 2 top scorers on that team. And you're going to have Thomas and Kyrou for sure are going to match those point totals this year, but we're not calling them elite. Mm-hmm. I get it. Maybe they're not, but you don't have to have 100-point players to win. No. The Vegas Golden Knights, when they won the Stanley Cup a couple of years ago, who was their top scorer?
Jack
Eichel. And what did he have, like 68 points or something?
Mm-hmm.
So it's building the right team that's the necessity here. It's not necessarily throwing a bunch of talent on the ice. We've seen that in multiple teams where they have all this talent but can never win. Look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mm-hmm. They've gotten out of the first round once. Now they're playing better this year, but why? They surrounded their team with more grit and more two-way players, and they have a coach that is absolutely harping on everybody playing a two-way game. So maybe this year's different. Maybe it isn't. We still haven't seen it.
If you heard some of these mic drops and you want to chime in, great. Leave us a mic drop, the Scott Lee Heating Company mic drop feature via the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app, and we'll play more of your mic drops throughout the course of the show. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Buffalo and Denver. Well, it started out great for the Broncos. Didn't end that way, but do we see what we needed to see out of Buffalo to feel like this year might be different for Josh Allen and company? That's next on 101 ESPN. join us and the Rizzuto Show for the Championship Bash at Hot Shots in Fenton next Sunday, January 26th. Hang out with the members of both of our shows, watch the AFC and NFC Championship games, plus enjoy bucket specials, delicious food, tons of TVs to watch the games, giveaways throughout the day, and the Pick'em Challenge punishment live on site. No, we don't know who's getting punished yet. It'll probably come down to tonight's game. Championship Bash kicks off with a live 2-hour pregame show at 11 a.m., and the fun continues until the NFC and AFC champs are crowned. Don't miss this year's Championship Bash with 101 ESPN and the Rizzuto Show at Hot Shots Fenton next Sunday, January 26th. And you get all the details now at 101ESPN.com. Anybody think that the Broncos were going to potentially pull off that upset when Bo Nix threw the 43-yard touchdown pass to Franklin?
After the first half, I thought, okay, it's not terrible. And you got Sean Payton that's going to make adjustments. Bo Nix getting more comfortable as the game goes on, you think. I thought,
maybe.
Boy, was I wrong.
Well, I thought Buffalo bullied them. And we just don't see that typically out of the Bills.
Yeah.
This is the problem I've had over the years. I'm sorry for being redundant, but ever since they lost to the Bengals in the playoff game the one year where the Bengals bullied them, it was like, hey, our roster is not built like a playoff team. Our roster is built like we're going to win a track meet. Why don't you surround Josh Allen with weapons that he needs, not necessarily what you think are the best weapons.
Right.
And I think they have that now. Shakir is outstanding after the catch. He's one of the best wide receivers after the catch over the last couple of years. I think he's in the same category as our guy Justin Jefferson. Just for yards after catch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's got a couple of tight ends, and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, and he's got, Amari Cooper is a veteran wide receiver. Mac Hollins is a veteran wide receiver. James Cook looked good on Sunday. They've got a trio of backs, in fact. You got Ty Johnson catching the touchdown pass. Mm-hmm. But I thought Buffalo bullied Denver yesterday. And almost out of the gates, Denver scores a long touchdown. The Bills come back, and instead of a 5-yard pickup for James Cook, it wanted to be in 16 on one of his early runs.
Right.
The offensive line, I thought, leaned on Denver throughout the game. I thought they bullied them. Denver needed to possess the ball longer offensively. They couldn't. Buffalo kept getting off the field, and then Denver couldn't get them off the field when Josh Allen and company got the ball.
I think the thing that has changed about Buffalo is their willingness to run the ball. James Cook had 1,000 yards again, but he had 16 touchdowns, most he's had in a season in his career. He is their willingness to not solely rely on Josh Allen in the running game and allow him to get the ball out of his hands quickly and make big plays. He had the pass to Curtis Samuel, I believe, that went for a touchdown. Great pass, great catch and run after the play. So you're seeing the ball get out of his hands quicker. You're seeing the run game, not with him being the lead main component in the run game. You're relying on Cook, and I think they're playing better. They have the thing that scares me about the Bills is you talk about that first play, right? You give up that's quarters. Like you got 4 guys deep, and he ran right between the safety and the corner. Your first rule of thumb is never let you stay deep as the deepest. Never let anyone get behind you. And so you let this man run right past you and get a touchdown. The reason that scares me is because they got a guy coming into town this upcoming week, that can do everything. Throw the ball past you, run past you. What type of defense are you going to play in front of him? Mm-hmm. Are you going to play man-to-man? Probably not. You know why? Because as soon as you turn your back, he's out of there. You're going to play 2 high safeties? Probably not, because you got a guy in the backfield that runs downhill. You're going to play 1 high safety, and you're going to let people run past you. We don't know what Zay Flowers looks like. We don't know if he's healthy. But are you going to play 1 high safety because you got to have 8 men in the box? That's a problem. So the Bills, I think they did what they were supposed to do. They beat a team that they were supposed to beat. The Broncos are also a team that is probably a year or 2 ahead of where they're supposed to be, just like we talked about with the Chargers. I want to see what they look like this weekend because we've already seen this game. We saw it earlier in the year, and it wasn't close. So I like what the Bills have done thus far this year. I just want to see if they're able to do it. Offensively, they can do some things, but I want to see what the defense looks like against a better opponent in the Ravens this weekend.
Well, you're right. That Week 4 matchup wasn't close.
No.
The Bills finished 3rd that night, as Jamie would say. So it was rough. So what adjustments do they make? I will say this. You mentioned the Broncos. Mm-hmm. Outside of it, and I really don't mean this as a shot carry at all, but like all the losers this weekend.
Wow.
Well, the teams
They're
they
not.
lost.
They're
All
playing in the
teams-
NFL,
That's,
Anthony.
Out of all the teams that lost this weekend,
thank you.
outside of the Steelers, you almost have to feel, you don't feel good about the loss, but you almost have to feel good about where you are as a franchise, right?
Yeah, because you're
like
younger.
Denver,
You're younger teams.
the Broncos, the Chargers.
Maybe not the Bucks.
You're on the upswing. The Bucks play in one of the worst divisions in the league, though.
I
You know,
guess.
like who's getting better out there? Certainly not the Falcons. Maybe the Panthers. Maybe the Panthers. But I mean, the Bucks still have a really competitive team. You know, they got some replace. You know, you got
They're probably.
you're a little old in the
They,
you're a little long in the
they
tooth
might be
defensively.
past that window,
But still.
they'll compete.
Yeah.
But they're not for a championship, more than likely.
But the Broncos, the Chargers, even the Packers. I mean,
Packers,
the Packers
yeah.
are in good shape. They just, and we'll get into this later, but they were losing guys left and right. I mean, that was rough to watch.
Yeah.
At one point, I looked over. I thought Carey was in Puerto Rico. He was stretching out. Stretching out. He's going to be a wide receiver.
Stretching.
Yeah. Different kind of stretching. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We do have our Gauntlet next, and I think we got a new Gauntlet contestant. I don't even want to say it. You know what? Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN.
always one challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Time for the Gauntlet. 4 o'clock. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, Justin Jefferson in ahead of tonight's game against the Rams out in Glendale. He's happy to be with us for the next 4. Well, continue to be with us here.
I think I played football a while. We never traveled on game day, so I don't know how this is going to work out for old JJ.
Well, Carey.
Jay Jettas. I mean, he's here with us. I don't know.
He's already in uniform, though, so he's ready to go.
I'm good.
Okay.
You know, growing up, this cat named Andrew Marsh, sometimes he would get dressed in the car heading to a hockey game, especially when it was snowing. And then when you get to the game, you're already in half your gear, and then you just put your skates on, and then, the top, and then you're good to go. Jamie, I don't know if you ever did that.
A couple of times I had to because my dad would be working. My mom, we only had the one car, so my brother would have hockey as well. So we'd have to go drop him off and then go straight to my practice or game, which obviously I wouldn't be there an hour before.
Right.
I'd be arriving 10, 15 minutes before. So I would actually get dressed at home at that point and just go out. I was just put my skates on at the rink.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then after the practice, go back to my brother's game because we spent the whole night usually at the rink.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Good times. Good times.
It really was, Anthony.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I wish you could go back sometime.
It paid off. Yes. I wish I could. Life was so simple.
I know.
No bills.
Any of you kids out there listening right now, stop saying you want to grow up. Stop saying you want to be an adult. Enjoy the no bills. Enjoy the fun that you have. Don't become an adult.
Cherish it. Cherish it as long as you can. All right, let's hear from Greg. What's up, Greg?
Oh, how you doing, guys?
We're doing great. We appreciate you listening. Thank you for playing. Is this your first time in the Gauntlet?
Oh, yeah, we got a first-timer here, so, I see what you're saying, okay, buddy?
Take off, hey, hoser.
All right, Greg, well done there. Would you like to play Justin Jefferson, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, or me today?
Oh, I probably should say Justin, but since Jamie's actually here today, I think I'd go ahead and choose him.
Not a bad thought. It really isn't.
I don't know how I feel about the way you said that, Greg.
You're not wrong.
I mean, you're a hardworking guy. You're doing
Oh.
one job right now.
The crab sandwich in full effect right there.
A little bit.
Greg, I don't care. I'm impressed, man.
Yeah.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Greg is going to tell Marsh to spin that wheel as Jamie heads into the cone of silence. Go ahead, Greg.
All right, Marshy, spin the wheel.
All right, here we go. Greg, what category are you hoping for?
Don't really much care, but I prefer not random, so probably it'll be random.
It's not random. It's baseball today.
When last time we had baseball?
I feel like it's been a hot minute since we've had baseball.
Probably since 2024.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's been a year.
Been a lot of football.
Yeah, a lot of football, a lot of hockey.
Yeah, it's been random or baseball in a while.
No, certainly has not. All right, thank you, Marsh. Or Justin, appreciate you. Greg, as you know, you're going to get 4 questions, all baseball related. Jamie's going to receive the same 4 baseball questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go, Greg. Andrew McCutchen will return to the Pirates for his 11th season with the organization. Back in 2013, Kutch captured NL MVP honors. Which of the Cardinals' familiar faces finished right behind him with 242 points? So we had 242 points behind McCutchen in 2013. NL MVP.
I want to say that has to be our guy Mart. I don't think there's anybody else on the 13 team that. I don't think Holiday would have gotten too many votes. Not in St. Louis, at least. Then, I guess I'll go with Matt Carpenter.
Final answer?
Yes, sir. Final answer.
Question number 2. With how many different teams has New Ranger Jock Peterson won a World Series?
Boy. Let's see. He's on the Braves. I don't think he was on the Cubs when they won. And then the Rangers. So I'll say 2.
Final answer?
Final answer, yeah.
Question number 3. Only 2 major leaguers were able to bash at least 14 triples last season. They were the Diamondbacks' Corbin Carroll and who else?
Yikes. I will take the options on that one.
Options are Bobby Witt Jr., Jaron Duran, or Ellie De La Cruz.
Well, Bobby Witt Jr. is pretty fast, so I'm going to go with him. Final answer.
All right, Greg, final question. Name the club that holds the longest active postseason drought, missing the playoffs since 2014.
I know it isn't. Nothing coming to mind exactly. I guess I'll take the options on that one too.
Sure. Colorado Rockies, Pittsburgh Pirates, Los Angeles Angels.
Like all of them. Yeah. Rockies.
Final answer, Rockies?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's bring back Jamie from the Cone of Silence.
Hey.
Greg, how you feeling?
Fair to probably cloudy.
Okay, all right.
Ain't bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have done well on this one, guys.
What is it, Randy with a chance of meatballs?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good program.
All right, Jamie's back from the Cone of Silence right now.
Yeah, hang on.
Chance of meatballs.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Cloudy.
Oh, I just heard part of that.
With a chance of meatballs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just don't spill them on the floor in your break room.
Or a smoothie.
I've seen Stormy with a chance of meatballs.
You're thinking
Is
of,
that a sequel?
nope, you're thinking of something else.
No.
Definitely thinking of something else.
Someone else. All right, Jamie, your category today is baseball.
You know I love baseball, Anthony.
Yeah.
I love it. I just love it.
Hey, pack a lunch.
Okay. All right.
Question 1.
Yeah.
Andrew McCutchen will return to the Pirates for his 11th season with the organization. Back in 2013, McCutchen captured NL MVP honors. Which of the Cardinals' familiar faces finished right behind him with 242 points?
What year?
2013.
2013. I think I'll know it with the options. Can I have the options, please?
Matt Carpenter.
No.
Matt Holliday. Paul Goldschmidt.
Oh, this is a tricky one. I'll go Paul Goldschmidt. Final answer.
Question number 2. With how many different teams has New Ranger Jock Peterson won a World Series?
Options, please.
2, 3, 4.
4 seems really high. I was going to say 1. So I'll go with the closest one, which is 2. Final answer.
Question number 3. Only 2 major leaguers were able to bash at least 14 triples last season. They were the Diamondbacks' Corbin Carroll and who else?
Okay. Options, please.
Options are Bobby Witt Jr., Jaron Duran, or Ellie De La Cruz.
Okay, so going back to my thought process from a long time ago is like, which one doesn't belong, right?
Tell him, Carey.
That's usually the answer.
What method is that?
That's the Stalter method.
It's the Staltering right there.
Yeah.
Because right when you said Bobby Witt Jr., I'm like, oh, yeah. And Ellie De La Cruz, oh, yeah. Who's the other guy? Durango?
Duran.
Duran. They were good in the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with B. Isn't that it? Was that Duran?
Jaron Duran.
Is he B?
That is option B.
Yeah, final answer, please.
Final question, Jamie. Name the club that holds the longest active postseason drought, missing the playoffs since 2014.
Oh, wow. Missing the playoffs since 2014. There are a lot of bad teams, but 2014. Give me the options, please.
Sure. Colorado Rockies, Pittsburgh Pirates, Los Angeles Angels.
Oh, it's me. Hang on. Who'd you say? The Rockies?
Rockies, Pirates, Angels.
I feel like it's the Angels. 2014, you say?
Yes, sir.
I do. I feel like because Mike Trout, everybody always complains, he never playing. I'll go with the Angels. Final answer, although the Pirates are a tough one, too. I said final answer.
All right.
There.
Let's go over these. Name the club that holds the longest active postseason drought, missing the playoffs since 2014. Greg, you took the options. You went with the Rockies.
That's a good one, too.
Jamie, as we just heard, you took the options. You went with the Angels because of Mike Trout. Never playing ever in a postseason game ever, potentially. Correct answer is
Los Angeles Angels.
Jamie up 1-0. Only 2 major leaguers were able to bash at least 14 triples last season. They were the Diamondbacks' Corbin Carroll. And who else? Greg, with the options, went with Bobby Witt Jr. Jamie, after hearing the options, decided to go the Stalter method. And I would have done the same thing. The exact same thing. Jamie decided to go with Jarren Duran because it just didn't fit between the other 2 options,
Guys
right?
are stars.
Yeah. Bobby Wood Jr. and Ella De La Cruz. Correct answer is?
It is Jarren Duran, who is a really good baseball player. He's an all-star.
He's an
and he's
all-star,
super
but
fast.
Yeah.
He's not like...
Still.
He's not those guys.
No.
I would have gone. I mean, if I just... Bobby Wood Jr. would have been the...
I thought Ellie De La Cruz, the way he flies around,
sure.
too, like every single's a potential
He gotta be
double.
up there.
Yeah, either option. Either way, Jamie's up 2-0. How many different teams has New Ranger Jock Peterson won a World Series? Jamie went with 2 after listening to the
One wasn't available.
Because 1 wasn't available. Greg said 2. Correct answer is
2.
But Greg didn't need the options for that one. The 2 that he's won, the Dodgers and the Braves. So Jamie's got 3. Greg has got 2. It comes down to this.
Oh, boy.
Andrew McCutchen will return to the Pirates for his 11th season with the organization. Back in 2013, Kutch captured NL MVP honors. Which of the Cardinals' familiar faces finished right behind him with 242 points? Greg, without the options, said Matt Carpenter. Jamie, with the options, said Paul Goldschmidt. If it's Goldie or the other option, Matt Holliday, Jamie wins. If it's Matt Carpenter, Greg wins. Greg.
Yeah.
Gold! Rich with gold!
You have chosen poorly.
It was Paul Goldschmidt. Greg, I would have said Matt Carpenter, too. That's kind of a trick question.
Well, that's why I went with that. I was like, wait a minute.
The way it's worked, which of the Cardinals' familiar faces? It didn't say that he played.
Yeah.
But Greg, I would have said Matt Carpenter too, because I would have thought the same thing you did. Is like, okay, which Cardinal? 2013, Marp had an unbelievable season. So, Greg, I'm sorry, I was right there with you, man.
I would have said Goldschmidt if I had realized he wasn't a Cardinal. You guys got me on the wording. No, I wouldn't have said that.
Greg, man, you were a lot of fun today. We appreciate it. Hopefully, you try again soon.
Absolutely. Take it easy, guys.
Have a good one, Greg.
Nice job. Nice job, Jamie. 4-4, man.
I got there, but that was not pretty.
I liked your thought process.
Like the staltering?
I like the staltering.
Well, and I was like, Paul Gross, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I see what you did
That
here.
was a bit of a trick question.
Yep.
I couldn't remember that when the last time the Rockies went to the playoffs. 2018 and 2017.
Oh, really?
I don't remember that at all.
Wild card team.
Yeah.
Didn't they play? No, wait a minute. No. Who the hell they play?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I can't remember. Because I'm like, no way the Rockies made the playoffs since 2013. And I was right. They made it twice. Who knew? All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got our guy Jeremy Rutherford next, talking a little Blues hockey on 101 ESPN.
No better time to buy a vehicle than right now with Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. I talk to you guys all the time. I've been a customer for over 25 years and all that. Well, now my children are customers. Talked to you before about my son Braden bought his first brand new car from Londoff Chevrolet. Well, my daughter McKinnon turned 16, and guess what? She got herself a Londoff vehicle thanks to Jim Saffo and the group over there at the Autoplex in St. Peters. And that's right, there's 2 locations available now for you. The original location in Florissant, Missouri, and the new Londoff Autoplex out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. Super easy to get to both locations, and they've got great brand new and pre-owned inventory in stock. They've got great deals. They're always giving you more off the sticker price than anybody else around. And Londoff Chevrolet will always give you more cash for your trade in. That is the Londoff guarantee. And if you're talking customer service, it's second to none. Even though I've been a customer for 20 years, this last car purchase, they continue to wow me with how efficient they are. The salesman, at the same time, kept sending me texts, updating me on things. It really is an awesome experience, and you're going to love the vehicle that you drive home from Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. So please visit either location. Let them know that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. But if you can't get there in person, they've got 2 great websites. Get there online. Visit them at londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
It's time for the Rutherford Report on 101 ESPN.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey, here we go.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. The Blues take on the Calgary Flames tomorrow night. Joining us right now via the Collier and Thompson phone line is our guy Jeremy Rutherford, who covers the Blues with The Athletic. JR, how's the weekend, man?
It was great. I actually spent the weekend in Chicago. Jamie, probably familiar with these hockey trips with the young kids, and let's just say you spend a lot of money and watch a lot of hockey.
Did you go to Seven Bridges?
I did not see Seven Bridges, no.
Okay, all right. It's like one of the bigger...
It's one of the bigger rinks.
Yeah.
It is.
In the Chicagoland area.
In the Brook.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
So, JR, how'd the weekend go?
Yep. You know.
It went pretty good, yeah. You know what? I'll tell you guys, we went 3-0, Eagles team here, St. Louis Eagles.
Pretty good, he says.
Nice.
But I'll tell you this is, you guys with your kids, too. I try to tell them, hey, act like you've been there before. If you score a goal, which doesn't happen often, he plays defense, just act like you've been there before. So this little guy, 11 years old, shoots a muffin from the blue line, scores, and just puts his arms straight down, doesn't celebrate or nothing.
Oh, no.
Wow, JR.
JR, come on, man.
You sucked the fun
joy right out of the
goodness.
Oh, man.
Yeah, his teammates skated up to him and patted him on his shoulder, and he did nothing. I was like, all right, you can enjoy it a little bit, buddy.
That is the worst as a parent. You're trying to teach them something important, and then you realize that they take it too literally, and you're like, oh, well, I'm a piece of crap. This is fun.
Yeah, I'm going to take that away from him. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, and speaking of him, I do have some. I need some dad advice here. He came home from school just a little bit ago, and he said, "Dad, I need the Vikings to win tonight." And I said, "Why, buddy?" And he said, "Oh, I got a $2 bet with a kid at school."
Oh, no. Wow.
Does the teacher know about this? So how do you guys handle that? This is dear Anthony, Carey, Jamie. What do I do here?
Well, if you lose, you just tell him don't pay the kid.
Oh, no.
You say, hey, son, tell him TAC. What's that? Try and collect.
Oh, no. If he loses, just tell him, this is how difficult it is. Never do this again. If he wins, he goes, you got lucky. Never do this again.
It's crazy when you think about it, though. These kids are, the young kids are growing up in a DraftKings world, right? Totally different than us.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah,
very
they
true.
do. They pick their team sometimes when they're talking. I hear these kids. Well, they're -7. What? What?
Why do you know that?
I got the Bruins tonight. They're -130. I'm like, why? What?
Who told you this?
I'm serious. I hear this at my hockey camps. They'll be talking baseball. Oh, the Cardinals are 2.5-run underdog on this one. What?
Well, at least they'll have it legal in Missouri now. I won't hear my kids saying, "Hey, Dad, I got to drive over to Illinois for a little."
Yeah, right. To meet with the kid. All right, JR. It's interesting listening to Jim Montgomery speak after losses. He had the one where he talked about the grit, and then this past weekend, Jim Montgomery was talking about this team has got to figure out how that it can't be scared to lose. I thought that was kind of a poignant comment that he made. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think, he's saying the right things here, and I think it's the same thing that people sense when they watch the team. I think that it's been pretty frustrating to see it play some pretty dynamite games. The Ottawa game comes to mind. The Anaheim game comes to mind. Obviously, Anaheim's scuffling a bit. But that, regardless of who you played that night, that would have been a pretty good game that the Blues played. So, then you have the lead disappear on you in Minnesota, and then to come out the other night, I really thought that Columbus game, you just came off the loss to them. You want to get back at them. You realize what it means for the standings. You want to go into this Calgary home and really make some hay in the standings. And then to have a performance like they did the other night. So I think Jim Montgomery, he's just kind of planting the seeds for what he wants this organization to be for at least his tenure and hopefully beyond. But I think with the way that they've been so inconsistent, it's got to frustrate him, and he's trying to get to the root of this.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything that you just said. And, in talking to Monty, and you're around the rink all the time, and I know you talk to him a lot as well, what do you think his next move is, though? Because this team, let's be honest, the team has kind of been the same for the last 2 seasons now. Win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 1. And you have these heartbreakers. Last year was the games for the Sharks and the Blackhawks. They end up hurting you at the end of the season. This season you've had a couple of those heartbreaker ones, too. I don't mean close games. I mean losing to an opponent that you should beat. How does Monty handle this moving on?
Well, the only answer I can give you there, Riv, is that perhaps you just have the wrong group of players, the wrong collection of players. And I realize that everybody knows that you're in a retool. You still want to be competitive. You still want to make the playoffs this year. But when you see that theme that you just kind of laid out there, perhaps it's just the mix of players. And there's nothing you can really do about that. That's why I think that everybody has to look at this situation from, like Doug always says, 35,000 feet is, what are you this year? Are you a playoff team? Well, I think if you're a playoff team, you need to go out and show it against a Columbus team, even though they're playing better here lately. What are you going to look like this home and home against Calgary? Well, home and home, they're both at home. But you got Calgary, they've won 2 straight. They're going to play at Chicago tonight. They could be 3 straight wins coming into this back-to-back at Enterprise Center. Are you showing up for this set of games? So I think that the organization has a view what they think the team is, and I think whatever you believe these players are, we've seen for the past couple of years that they haven't shown up in those situations. So, to me, if we continue to see that time and time again, Riv, it's a situation where you just look for a different type of makeup in the coming years as the team evolves.
JR, we got a voicemail earlier that said the Blues lack star power at the forward position. Do you agree with that, one? And if so, how do they get that, and do they need it in order to be successful this season?
Well, yeah, and that's a kind of a conversation the past couple of years. Do you rebuild? Do you retool? Kind of the only way to get those star players, top 5 draft picks, is through the draft. The couple of years that the Blues had a high draft pick, you went with Eric Johnson and Pietrangelo. Nothing wrong with that. You tried to build from the blue line out, and at least Pietrangelo, a good player for you. So, unless you're picking top 5, you're just not getting the McKinnons, Crosbys, Connor Bedard's, those types of guys. So, do they lack star power? I think they have a couple players who could be stars, and I think Robert Thomas definitely at times has shown that he can be that player. But still, smarter people than me have said, when you pick in the 20s and 25, you can get lucky and get a good player, but they're still not going to be those, top tier, top 5 picks, generational type players that can really get the job done. So, unless you're picking there, I don't see how the Blues are going to come away with one of those players.
A couple more things for our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford with The Athletic here on 101 ESPN. JR, I'm sure you've seen the rumors as well. Potentially, Ryan O'Reilly could be on the trade block. From what you know about the Blues and Doug Armstrong, do you think that a reunion with Ryan O'Reilly could be, even if it's a small possibility, a possibility nonetheless?
Yeah, no. So a couple things. One is, based on history, I like to base everything on history with Doug, is you never say never. That's number 1. Number 2 is he always likes the guys he's familiar with, and definitely there's been a history there. But does it make a lot of sense? And, in the case of the Blues who are looking for number 2/number 3 center, obviously Shen's been playing terrific with Holloway and Kyrou now. Could he help them? I suppose he could. Does it make sense? Do you go back in time with Ryan O'Reilly? I'm not quite sure that that's the answer here. Again, I still go back to what are the Blues, and they need to show us in the next 3 games. Not only do you have the Calgary 2 games here, but then you got Utah. These are 2 teams, 3 games that are right there in the standings. So we'll know a lot more about this team soon. But to answer your question, if Doug is intent on doing everything he can this year to solidify this team to make it what he thinks can be a playoff team, we've already seen it with a couple of these moves, then I wouldn't rule it out. I just don't have any concrete information that they want to bring Ryan O'Reilly back and make him part of this.
All right, Jared, we appreciate it, man. Good luck, and go talk to your son about a multitude of issues right now.
I'll let him have some fun, JR.
Yeah. We're going to go work on the sellies and teach him about a parlay.
There you go. Now that's parenting.
Yeah. See you,
right,
JR.
Thanks, boys.
Later.
Yep.
That's our guy, Jeremy Rutherford, here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. We're working our way through the wild card matchups from this past weekend, and one of the games we haven't talked about yet is the game in Philadelphia. Tonight's game, the Rams and the Vikings will decide who heads to Philadelphia. And I think there's two questions that came out of this game, one on each side. That's next on 101 ESPN. You may be interested in buying your dream home, but you don't know if you can afford it. You don't know if you can have the loan be put into place. Maybe you got some financial things that you need to clear up, or you just don't know if you can qualify for that loan. That is why you call our guy Stewie. When you call Stewie, first of all, he gives you his personal cell phone number. Jamie, you called him.
Oh, yeah.
Same number we're about to give you in a minute here. But when you call him, there's really no challenge that Stewie hasn't met head on and has helped one of our 101 ESPN listeners. And I know you just recently purchased a home, and the process was easy. It was smooth, and Stewie did all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and a lot of times people think they have a unique situation that they can't work through or something. Look, Stewie has a lot of great programs that he's already currently using, but he's not afraid to expand that to help you purchase a home or whatever it is your financial problem is at the time. He's there to try and find a program that works for you or work with you on creating a new program maybe that has solutions. And, you know, for me, there was a couple of small obstacles. Stewie helped me through that and was able to purchase the home of my dreams, and plan on being there for the rest of my life. And that's thanks to Stewie and everything he does over there at Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. So give him a call. That number is 314-324-4440.
Again, like Jamie just said, that number, 314-324-4440.
Call him, text him, day, night, weekends, doesn't matter. Stewie's there for you. But if you can't remember that number or you're driving, can't write it down, it's pretty easy. Anthony, what can they do?
You can always Google the bagel loan.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update. Driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lose over the weekend to the Columbus Blue Jackets by a final score of 2-1. They'll take on the Calgary Flames tomorrow, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We just talked with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. Tonight on 101 ESPN, we'll have the final wild card game of this NFL slate. It is the Rams going up against the Vikings. Pregame starts at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7. We're going to dive into yesterday's game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers and what we saw from that matchup. That's next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Literally from the start of the game yesterday, the Green Bay Packers did not look good. Fumbled the opening kickoff. Philadelphia turned that into a quick 7. And even though the game was never out of hand from a scoring standpoint, I thought the Eagles just flat dominated the Packers. And we'll get into the Eagles side of things, but I don't know what really you could do if you're Green Bay. Josh Jacobs tried to put the offense on his back a couple of times.
Boy, a couple of runs he had.
He was their offense. Yep. Jordan Love did not play well.
No.
But when you have, at the end of the game, it was Carey Davis, Jamie, and me that he was throwing to. That's tough.
And he still couldn't make those throws.
He couldn't. Nope. I mean, we were open.
Not us playing.
Yeah, it's funny you didn't mention my name, Anthony. I would have caught it.
Well, Justin Jefferson, you would absolutely.
Yeah, I'm playing tonight.
Yeah.
You're playing at a high level.
Justin, I would not have said that. I mean, if he had you, the Packers probably win.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. The Eagles got some guys, man. They got guys on both sides of the ball. And I think, defensively, they are really good up front. Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, they got guys that get after the quarterback, and they got a really good secondary. Darius Slay made a big pick. They got guys that can cover you well on both levels, at the linebacker position and at the corner and safety position. And so defensively, I think that's the thing to look at, right? You put pressure on Jordan Love, and he made some poor throws. Not great football, but I think as a team, we have given Nick Sirianni so much crap, but to come out and pretty much knock the guy out, the opening kickoff, and get a fumble to start the game off. You talk about setting the tone. That is how you set the tone for the entire, not just that game, but for the entire playoffs. Those guys on special teams, you always say special teams, you're the first person to start the game, whether it's kickoff return or kickoff, set the tone. And they did just that, getting the ball, going down and scoring. Saquon Barkley is a difference maker. He is. It's so much fun. I appreciate watching him play football because I know the joy was not there to this level in New York. It just wasn't. Yeah. You're not on a good team. You're not surrounded by great players. You're not having nearly as much fun. You are on a team right now that is if not favored, second to favorite to make it to the Super Bowl from the end.
They're not favored.
Come on, Carey.
Let me tell you.
Oh my goodness.
The disrespect for our Lions is
our Lions.
For Jamie's Lions is bad.
You're the Chiefs guy. Stay in your lane, buddy.
Yeah. I was gonna have an NFC team.
Yeah,
No.
Okay. I don't think you should do that. When you get to the NFC,
go ahead.
When you get to the NFC Championship, it's going to be a good matchup if these are the two teams there. I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
I see it in your eyes.
Offensively, I think they're both set up with great players on offense. I think they both
AJ Brown, he's too busy reading a book, damn it.
Yeah, he only had one catch. That book is a bestseller on Amazon at this point.
What did he think he was, what's his name from Varsity Blues?
Moxon.
Hey,
reading a book behind the playbook. Come on,
taking care of business.
Sure, yeah, sure he was.
Yeah, they were up. It didn't matter.
That was weird.
I think they have.
I thought it was an ice packet.
They have so much talent on the offensive side, and I think they match up talent-wise offensively very well with what the Lions have offensively. They got a lot of talent as well. I think the challenge or the distancing of itself is on the defensive side. I think what the Eagles have defensively is probably better than what the Lions have defensively. So I think that's the one thing that separates them. And yeah, the Lions are the better team right now, but I would be looking forward to that matchup because 22-10 is not really indicative of how that game went, right? You talked about it earlier.
Packers are terrible.
There you go, right? The number of injuries, the number of
terrible.
But they're still in it.
They did, and they took a dumb penalty at the end of that game. They were using their timeouts to try and stop the clock and then get the ball back, and then who's to say they're going to win that game or tie it or whatever? But they had a chance, and they had a dumb penalty at the end of the game. A roughing or what was it called?
There was a
unnecessary roughness.
A defensive lineman. You're talking about the one where he basically shoved down Saquon Barkley. That one?
Yeah, towards the end of the game when they took their timeouts, they would have been third down with, I believe, one timeout left.
Yeah, you would at least had the ball back.
Yeah,
I got you. Yep.
Yeah,
plus, I mean, Melton didn't even keep his feet on the crucial fourth down play.
No.
Like, you know where you're at,
It's kind of a bad pass, but he's got to get the feet down.
He's got to get the feet
Looked like he kind of got
Saquon is a big play waiting to happen. Like he slid down on that last play. He could have scored a 70-yard touchdown.
It's a good thing JR's son didn't have an anytime touchdown. A lot of people were not happy about that.
Yeah, the hell with those guys. We won the game. I don't care. That's all that matters. Yeah. Get out of there. Stay. He could have pulled a hamstring running 70 yards. Get down. Yeah. Game over. But I think the Eagles are. I think they are a really good team. And you said the Green Bay Packers didn't play well. 3 interceptions by Jordan Love. You throwing the ball to the wrong color green. But I think it's the pressure that you receive from the Philadelphia Eagles. They're just up front, they are a really good team. Like I said, Nolan Smith has grown into a really good player, and that interior defensive line, they make things happen. So I'm excited about what the Philadelphia Eagles are bringing to the table and what they're going to do in this playoff run.
So I said there's 2 questions, right? One, Green Bay side of things, Jordan Love. I like Jordan Love a lot, but he's becoming kind of a tough evaluation. There's a lot of things that you like. He throws a really catchable ball. He's not afraid to take the shots downfield. He's aggressive, but his accuracy sometimes wanes. Mobility's there, but then he doesn't see the field well. Like, he has become kind of a tough evaluation. Yeah. So we think the Packers have their guy, but do they?
Yeah.
Do they have the next?
Because they signed him.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, do they have the guy that's going to lift them?
Yeah.
Like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers?
I think that he still has a young group around him, and he's still young in terms of years played. I think he's 26, 27 now, but in terms of years played, this is really only his into his second year, going to be his third year next year, having those reps under center. So I think he'll be fine. I just think the talent around, he's got some guys, and we talked about Christian Watson tearing his ACL. He's going to miss some time going into next year as well. That's your guy that you throw the ball to. It's difficult when you start having receivers dropping all over the place and you're throwing to backups. It's just a little bit more, it makes life a little bit more harder for that quarterback to trust those guys.
That game alone can't be the evaluation.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, over the last 2 seasons, there's been a lot of ups and downs. Jamie, I don't know if you were going with this when you were thrown out there, but I think the question on the Eagles side is that offense Saquon or bust? Because
it's fine.
Jalen Hurts didn't have a pass completion, I don't think, for a quarter and a half.
And it's fine.
I looked at it this way. My question was, are the Eagles good or were the Packers just that bad that day?
I think the Eagles' defense is legit.
The Eagles' defense is legit. I did not think that Jalen Hurts had a very good game at all. To your point, Saquon Barkley is a machine, 119 yards again. Jalen Hurts, 36 yards on 6 carries, but 13 of 21.
Yeah, it took him 2 quarters to complete a pass.
Yeah. Not great, man.
He was not efficient. Like, he made a couple of plays with his legs.
If you're only putting up 22 points against that Packers team,
right,
you're going to need 35 plus to beat the Lions.
You were spotted 7.
You will, because the Lions are going to put up 35 to 40 points.
Or the Commanders.
Spotted 7.
Or the Commanders.
Or the Commanders.
Whoa.
Who will not make it past Jamie's Lions.
No.
Lions, Chiefs.
That's what we said last week.
It was a heck of a season
yesterday.
for the Commanders, but we're done here.
It's fascinating on 101 ESPN. Justin Jefferson is with us today ahead of tonight's game against the Rams, and he's got what's trending for us next on 101 ESPN. If you haven't played Underdog Fantasy yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. This is a fun game, and it's fun. It's fair. You can win a bunch of money. With your Champions game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. So I'm getting excited for tonight's game. You got the Rams. You got the Vikings. Marsh is wearing his Minnesota Viking helmet. He's ready to go tonight. I am too. I like Puka Nacua to go higher than 7.5 receptions. I think he's going to be active. I think he caught like 8 or 9 receptions and didn't even play his full allotment of game the last time these two teams met because he was coming off the injury. But Nacua, I like higher on Justin Jefferson's receptions. That's at 6.5. And I like higher on Stafford's passing yards, which is 240.5. I love playing Underdog Fantasy. Again, all you have to do is choose higher or lower. If you feel like a player like me with Stafford is going to go higher than his passing yards number, you can build your parlay that way. It's a lot of fun. They're the only Champions platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. You can you roll the dice and keep on playing with your entry, or you can tap the win now button to cash out whenever you want. Every dog deserves a second chance. That's their Underdog rescue. So if a player goes down in the first quarter, you actually get bailed out. Underdog will just flat out bail you out, give you your entry fee back, because that's part of the fair play that they like to encourage. So when it comes to Underdog Fantasy, again, I love it. I told you about my Underdog play tonight, but you can play your own. Just use Underdog. Best place to play Champions. Download the app. Sign up with my promo code Anthony. Deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code Anthony. You must be 18 or older, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
topics in the sports world.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Here's what's trending.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, we have some coaching news in the NFL. Let's get to Mike Vrabel first. He is now the head coach for the New England Patriots. It seemed like this was the direction that they wanted to go all along, perhaps. Did you get that same vibe once Mike Vrabel was named the head coach?
Yeah, well, let's go back. I think that Gerard Mayo, it was their plan to replace Bill Belichick with Gerard Mayo. I think that Robert Kraft, seemingly based on what I've read and heard, that he loved Gerard Mayo, wanted him to be the guy, and there was supposed to be this natural passing of the torch between Belichick and Mayo. Instead, Belichick got even more surly and decided, you know what, I'm going to keep my circle of trust to only a couple of people, and the transition was clunky. But Mayo was supposed to be the guy. But when Vrabel was fired in Tennessee, I think Kraft stuck with Mayo, saw how it went, but you don't put together this long explanation after the one game and tell me that you slept on the Mayo decision. Like that decision to fire him, I think, was weeks in the making.
Yeah.
So once Vrabel was out there, he stayed out there. I do think it was inevitable that Vrabel would be the guy. But I do think Mayo was given at least somewhat of a fair shake.
Was he?
I mean, maybe not fair shake, but I think he was supposed to be the guy.
Well, then can you say that because you got a rookie quarterback, you got a team that they were picking third overall. Is that when they got Drake May? So it's not a team that's ready to win a championship or even compete for a playoff. You're on a rookie quarterback. I don't feel like that was a real opportunity to see what Gerard Mayo was capable of doing. I thought we talked about it early when we were doing the Gridiron guys, early in the season when they were talking about take them up the hill, right? And that was their mantra.
On
like
what?
It's a podcast
Drag them up the hill.
Yeah, this podcast.
Oh, you're talking about the Gridiron guys. Yeah, it's a really good it's a really good podcast.
You should check it out.
Yeah.
But either way.
First 4 episodes are great.
The best 4 episodes you'll ever get in life.
Well, I'll take it
Leave
now.
you one more is our motto.
Boy, did you ever.
Don't give it to them all. Don't give it all to them, Anthony. Leave them one more. But we talked about just how they battled, especially earlier in that season. They seemed to be a better team than obviously what their record was. But I feel like Gerard Mayo just didn't get a fair shake. Like if your plan was to go with Vrabel the entire time, you probably should have went that way and not given Gerard Mayo one season, because who can change, who can make a shift in an organization that was obviously that bad the year before to this season and have as much success as he would have needed to keep his job? I just don't feel like it was a fair shake.
No, you're right. You're right about that. I'm just saying I don't think Robert Kraft's plan initially was only give Mayo a season and then go to Vrabel. I think the thought was, hey, let's go with Mayo. And then Vrabel got fired. So, it was one of those things where it's like, shoot.
Is this like the Bannister and Montgomery situation where a guy is available and you get the guy that has
It's a little. I don't think it's
tenure.
I don't think it's as obvious because Bannister did pretty good as a coach. He was well over 500 as Blues coach last year, whereas Gerard Mayo was not. And based on what I'm hearing coming out of New England and some of the coverage is that he just never had control of anything there.
Yeah.
That the players and the staff and everybody was on their own program and there's no communication and it was a disaster. Apparently,
he was apparently after one of the losses, he was on the back of the plane playing cards with his team while his assistant coaches were already preparing for the next game up in front. I don't know if that's just garbage, CD. You've got more insight on that.
I think so. I'm looking at the dates. Gerard Mayo was hired January 12th, if I'm not mistaken, and Vrabel was fired January 9th. Of 24. So it's not like they couldn't have hired Vrabel in that time or interviewed him.
Unless you were telling Jared,
what difference does it make? What difference does it make? If you, they were telling Brian Flores, you got the job. At least Belichick was. You're like, oh, wrong Brian. Sorry.
That was different. He reached out to the wrong Brian.
That is
really?
funny.
I got the job? Wait a minute. Which Brian is this? You got to change the name.
You're going to be great wherever you wind up, Flores.
So apparently with that, New England had language in Gerard Mayo's contract to become Belichick's successor, but team sources said Vrabel's unexpected availability in January of last year after being fired by the Titans made some within the team wonder whether those plans should be shelved in favor of Vrabel.
That's kind of my point. I think the plan was initially.
Well, then,
right,
if
so
that's
he
the
had
case,
in his contract.
if that's the case, then you can find a way out of that language, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Pay him whatever it is. You feel like you did him a disservice of hiring him for one season because who can fix something? And to the gambling in the back with the players.
Not gambling, but just playing cards.
If you're playing cards, you're more than likely.
There's no fun.
There's no fun.
We don't play for. It's not playing for free.
Not bad.
No, you're gambling, but it's. I think it's much ado about nothing. If you go back and gamble or play cards with your team for 30 minutes, you ain't gonna get that much film in. You're building more.
I think it's the perception, though.
But you're building more with your players. I think so.
I don't know if I'm taking the coach seriously.
No.
If I had a coach come to the back of the bus or the back of the plane when I'm playing cards and we just took a beating, I'd be like, what are you doing back
What
here?
are we doing?
It depends on. That's not a team that was going to win a championship.
So you're not
or make
creating
a playoff.
a culture.
30 minutes to an hour, however long. I don't like if you're sitting there for 2 hours playing cards,
I just don't
playing
like the look of it.
and you're in it. Like, it's not great. But
we all have our own opinions. I just don't like the look of it.
I don't think it was that terrible. But you find a reason.
But are you a player or are you a coach?
You're a coach. Are you unable to?
And then, how is the preparation for the game? So if I'm on that team, the preparation is substandard, and then my coach is back playing cards with the guys. Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, there are a lot of things that we don't have. We're not privy to. We don't know the full details of how that game went, which game it was. Was it
the card game or the football game?
The football game.
Okay.
Now, we know the card game. We know somebody lost. Somebody got off a little lighter than they got on.
Oh, yeah.
That's known.
Hey, in football, did you guys give each other breaks at the card table?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
every now and then.
We call it a blue light special.
Yeah, every now and then.
Like, let's say you lost, whatever, like $500 over the road trip or whatever. Sometimes the guys get more. I'm just using a number. $500, you're like, kind of. Let's say it's a little hefty for what that guy's,
You waive it.
Hey, just give me $200. We'll call it even. There's a blue light special. But then you got to remember that guy cut you a deal too.
I got cut a deal before.
I had to.
Wasn't really a good deal.
No.
Still, it was a good deal, but it wasn't.
So we were playing that game. I don't know. It was a bunch of different names. It was called In Between.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Anthony,
that's what I lost on.
You take the deck. Me too. I'm telling the story here. Watch this. You take the deck. You flip one card, and you flip the next card, and you have to figure out. Or what is it?
Ace high, or ace low, king high. And
you got to say then. You got to get a card that's in between.
Right.
So sometimes if it's like you get ace high and you get a 2, you're like, oh, this is great. You know?
Yeah.
Boom.
You got enough leeway there.
Yeah. But then you get time to whereas cards like you get a 7 and a 9.
Yeah.
And now you got to hit an 8, right? So I had one that was like a king and a 4, and the pot was big, and I went pot. Like, because you can pick $20 on this, $10 on that, $100. I went pot. I mean, I got this, right? All of a sudden, another king means I hit the post, which means I got to pay double what's in the pot.
Oh yeah,
no.
Yeah. It was a big pot. I was like,
it wasn't.
Like, oh no,
it wasn't a $500 pot,
dude. You know that feeling?
It was
that feeling you get when like you can't stomach what just happened. It was like that, and like the whole card table could tell. Oh boy, he doesn't have enough to cover what that just was. They gave me a deal on it, but like I was like, oh,
still hurt.
I feel like it was king 4 for me too, and I hit the king. Like there's no way. The pot was a nice size pot. And I hit that damn thing. I said, I went to sleep.
I was out of the card game for like 3 weeks after that.
I'll bring it to you this week. I don't got it.
It was bad.
It was really bad. There's to a guy that didn't damn need it.
Of course.
It's always like that. The richest guy at the table's mopping up. Like, you son of a...
All right, we got our sports six-pack next. 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service text line. Feel free to text us any questions that you have, and we'll play the sports six-pack next.
Hey, it's Carey Davis, and I want to tell you about Window Nation and all the great things that they are offering. They are offering you 50% off of all window styles, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. Yep, that's 2 full years from Window Nation. Listen, all they do is windows. They are experts. Last year alone, they installed over 200,000 windows, 40% more than the average window company, 96% of those windows requiring no follow-up service. They'll measure that window 3 times to ensure proper fit. All you have to do is call them at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. 96% of those windows that they install require no follow-up service, and they can get your window done in 1 day or less. And Window Nation's windows always come with a lifetime warranty. So reach out to them. Get your free, no-obligation quote today. Again, that's 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. 50% off of all window styles, plus pay nothing for 2 years with no interest. Window Nation, give them a call today, 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane. 5:04, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Justin Jefferson ahead of tonight's Rams and Vikings game, which will carry tonight on 101 ESPN. JJ is with us right now, and he's got the questions for the Sports Six-Pack.
Question number 1.
All right, from the 618, you guys were just talking about Mike Vrabel and the Patriots. What do you think about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys parting ways with Mike McCarthy?
I think that was written on the wall. We've seen this story kind of playing out over the last couple of years. Really surprised. I mean, it's unfortunate for him because you deal with so many injuries at key positions. Your quarterback misses more than half of the games, if I'm not mistaken, you're not going to have great success. CeeDee Lamb got injured. You dealt with Micah Parsons missed time. Trayvon Diggs missed time. Like, you had a Lawrence, I believe, missed time. You had so many of your star players injured this year.
Go back. Your damn owner didn't sign Derrick Henry.
Wow, that's
It's not his fault.
What the hell has Derrick Henry done, huh?
Yeah,
you don't pay for a running
That's
back.
a good point.
You don't know anything, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Neither does anybody that talks football about running backs. Damn idiots.
Fools. Bunch of fools.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate for him. I think, and the crazy part is the Bears were wanting to interview him a few days ago,
Yeah,
and the Cowboys were like, no. And then you fire him 2 days later. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Don't block my blessings. What are you doing?
Was it really a firing, though?
Yeah, technically not a firing, but I understand what you mean. Yeah, they parted ways.
They couldn't come to an agreement, and I'm sure McCarthy was probably tired of that lingering over him year after year. They're going to get rid of him. So, you find an opportunity elsewhere, but it's not really a surprise that they have decided to go in different directions.
This seems to me, guys, like it was a contract situation where maybe – Mike McCarthy said, hey, give me 3 years. And they're like, well, we'll go year to year or something. And they couldn't come to an agreement. And now.
Yeah, but wouldn't you know before now? Like, this is so stupid.
You would think.
Like, Jerry Jones, man, get out of your own way, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, he blocks him for. I haven't.
But you've seen enough of Jerry to know.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I'm saying. I'm like, you got this coach. He's either your coach or he isn't. And Jerry is on record a couple of days ago saying, well, he's done everything we've asked him to do with this team. And it's like, it's
pretty good.
And then, like, really? Then you just let him go.
Yeah.
But you block him from an interview? Like, I don't get it.
He's your guy.
If you like this guy, why are you literally screwing him over?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Man, you don't like him that much.
Wow, but he must, because he should have fired him before, and he never did.
Well, so does he get a third go around? Because
Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, because most coaches don't get the third chance.
Well, Chicago's already wanting to interview him. They're dumb enough. They'll take him. Watch.
I hope.
What?
Oh, wow. That was harsh.
Well, it's honest. No.
You could do worse than McCarthy, though, if you're the Bears.
You could.
I mean, you could do way worse.
But if you're the Bears, like instead of
they
going
already
with
have.
The Bears? Oh, several times over.
Yeah. This last one with Eberflus.
They had a good coach since Ditka.
No, I don't think Eberflus was the worst. I think, what's the guy with the glasses?
Mark Trestman?
Yeah. No.
He was worse?
Not Trestman. Was it Trestman?
Yeah. Well,
he came from the CFL.
Yeah.
He wasn't good, was he?
No.
He was terrible. The first year was okay. Then the second year.
He wasn't good.
Well, no. They haven't had a good coach. I mean, Matt Nagy
since Mike Ditka.
Nagy at least took him to the playoffs.
He did.
With
like limped into the playoffs.
With
Cutler.
No.
Mitch Trubisky.
Mitchie football.
Oh, that's right, Mitchie football.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
Didn't
still
he do
wasn't
it twice?
But
they went to the playoffs.
That
They missed the field goal.
The double
against
doink.
the
Eagles.
But that wasn't a good team. They just happened to make the playoffs.
Anthony.
Either way.
Mark Trestman went 8-8 and 5-11.
What I'm saying, 8-8 and 5-11. Well, as I said, the first year was okay. Second year was no good.
Just okay. Lovie Smith was better. That was one of the. He took him to the Super Bowl.
I think Eberflus was worse than Trestman.
Probably.
But it hasn't been good. My point is, you could do a lot worse than Mike McCarthy if you're the Chicago Bears. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Man, Dick Duran.
What? Oh, man.
Dick Duran.
How about John Fox?
What'd you say?
Man's name? Dick
Duran.
Duran. I thought you said drawn, like Drawn.
No, he didn't draw anything. Dick.
I ain't drawing nothing.
I'm not drawing that, Carey.
Yeah.
Or him, sorry.
Either way.
Question number 2.
Okay.
It is 5 o'clock, isn't it? Yep.
It's the witching hour.
Yep.
He hates that guy.
It's the witching hour where losses become wins and wins become losses, and I tell you everything before the play happens. All right, from the NFL Red Zone channel.
He's good at his job.
Listen, I can't imagine what it's like to be in a room like that and have to, jump around as much as he does for as long as he does. Scott Hansen, don't get me wrong on that. He drives me crazy, though.
Yes.
And I've talked about that, right?
You have discussed it.
From the 314, will the Cardinals sign a contract longer than 1 year before the winter of 2026?
Winter is coming. Yes.
Yeah. It might be a young guy, though.
It'll be next year.
Like
Not this year.
No, you're right.
Like if,
Yeah, not this year.
Not this year.
I could see like Brendan Donovan getting a deal or something.
You think he's still considered a young guy? I think he's.
Was it young?
We said young guy, didn't you?
No, just a contract.
Yeah.
Jamie said young guy.
Oh no, I did. I said I wonder if it's a young guy, and I was going to say Mason Wynn, but I'm like, I don't think Mason Wynn's going to sign.
5 o'clock. It's 7 p.m. in Puerto Rico.
Carey, you're here. You're back now. Okay.
Am I?
I'm sorry.
Clearly doesn't want to be here.
Listen, your body is here. I understand your mind is there, but your body's at least.
And I don't blame him.
I'm at a bar right now.
I don't blame you at all, Carey. I'm here for that.
Thank
for you.
Appreciate it.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, I try.
Justin, question 3, please. So yeah, we're going to say yes, they signed somebody.
Question number 3.
From the 618, looking to propose to my girlfriend. Any recommendations on where to do it in St. Louis? From the 618.
Marshall,
you have to.
Carry
you
your
have
thoughts.
to know if your girlfriend likes attention, or is she more of a private person? That's something you should know, because if you have a bunch of people around and she's kind of freaked out, you might not get the answer in that moment that you're looking for, which I think is.
Or you may get an answer that's not the truth.
Yeah, like, yeah. And you're like, no, when you get home. So figure out what she likes. Take her to a place that you all enjoy. This kind of feels like a segment I did on the morning show. You know about it. Steven, you know who you are. Yeah, what's that later?
It's time for
you Steven Pyle.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
So find out what she likes. Make it something,
Yeah, but do you want her to know?
You ever
though?
went?
Like if you ask her, like,
She's probably listening to the show right now. She's an avid listener.
Yeah,
Very true.
No,
you should know this though. You should know this. By
if
now.
you're getting married, you should probably know all of this by now. And if you don't, there's your answer. Okay. Now, let's just be honest here for a second. And is he like he's getting engaged now, this time of year? Is that what he's asking, like right now? Or
Well, he's just put plans to do it.
Find a spot.
it's not really pretty out right now, guys. So some of the places you might suggest would be like off
Winter Wonderland. It's still nice. It snows. Somebody,
How about
find
the
some lights.
free zoo?
No.
All right. Why don't you find a spot that has meant something to you guys at some point?
Look at Lance
great question.
Romance
First
over here.
Nobody heard me just say that.
Land
Did you say that?
Literally just said that.
What would the meaning have to be, though?
Like a first date or a first spot you saw each other, a first spot you made out.
I don't think they want to get
First
engaged.
spot you got naked. I don't know.
Well, this is true.
Take her there.
Yeah.
Like Carey said initially, and I piggybacked.
Yeah, what he said.
That was nice of you. I agree.
Sorry, Carey.
It's just a new idea. He presented it so well. Like, wow,
He worded it
sounds
slightly
familiar.
different. He put a new cover on the book.
He had no idea.
Jamie looked at me. He's like,
Yeah, it's a great idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I thought so. That's why I said it.
listen, Carey, that's on me. I did hear the steaming pile. I heard that part.
It's time.
Yeah. Anyways.
Pile.
The real answer is if you know this person well enough to marry them, you already know the right spot to propose.
Yeah.
And I would say
Something that
hire
means something to you.
it doesn't matter where, but
idea.
hire like an undercover photographer.
Oh, yeah. Good call. I thought you were going to say agents so they could follow her and make sure that she is who she says she is.
Mr. and Mrs.
No,
Smith.
the background check and have a private investigator make sure she's the right one. Marcia, you're onto something.
All right. That's a great call there.
Yeah.
I had
Justin.
a former teammate do something like that.
Yeah.
Before he got married. And hey, people do things, man.
I ain't mad.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
I ain't mad.
Yep.
I mean, if the girl wants to do the same, go ahead.
Have at it.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a great relationship.
Yeah.
Starting off on the right foot. I don't trust you at all.
Had somebody follow you.
Hey, me too.
High five.
Perfect.
You passed.
Made for each other.
Can you imagine? Hey, honey, yeah, you know what? Had someone follow you for the last 3 months and hacked your phone and all this stuff. And
turns out you're all right.
You're a keeper.
good.
You want to do this marriage thing?
Turns out you hired the same person.
And that person now running off to the bank with all your money.
Yep.
They're good at looking up people on Facebook.
Yeah.
I got one in house.
Yep, that's right. All right, we'll continue our sports six-pack. Air Comfort Service Tax on 314-399-9646. More gem answers coming up. Coming your way next on 101 ESPN. Fastline on 101 ESPN. Our Sports Six-Pack continues right now with Justin Jefferson.
Question number 4.
Oh, man.
Anthony got into this radio thing to be serious.
He did. And he's here with 2 children. Him and Marcia are like, can we do the damn show?
Well, let's just go over this crap, you guys.
It is funny that I'm in a room full of older gentlemen.
And you're the most
I'm the most mature person in the room.
I mean,
at
by far.
least for the last 15 minutes.
No, I mean, I think just in general.
Every day.
Yeah, every day.
I would have to say that, yes.
I'm very proud of you for that.
Absolutely. We all are.
Yeah.
He speaks for all of us.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to a serious question here.
All right.
From the 636, is this a better Eagles team than the Eagles team that lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
No.
What?
No.
Why not?
I think Jalen Hurts was better that year.
He did finish second in the MVP voting.
I think he was better.
But
overall.
the team,
I think the offensive line was better.
I think the team is better. I think they're a better team right now than they were a few years ago when they made it to the Super Bowl.
That team was really good. Damn good.
It was really good. They did have a stout defensive line. They did have, their defense was outstanding. I think they have more talent right now at the skill positions. Obviously, the addition of Saquon Barkley.
So really, we're just talking about Saquon.
Well, I think the defensive secondary is probably better. You got Darius Slay is still there. You got some rookie cornerbacks. I think they're better in the secondary. And up front, I think they led the league in sacks that year, if I'm not mistaken, the year they went to the Super Bowl. They're probably more athletic on the defensive line right now than they were then. Yeah. You don't have Jason Kelce there, who was a stalwart at the center position, obviously, but I think they're still as good up front, and I just think they're better because you don't have to rely on Jalen Hurts as much as you did to make that Super Bowl run, because you saw what happened in that game. They just couldn't get it going. On the defensive side, they couldn't get to Mahomes.
Yeah, because the offense was outstanding.
They couldn't get to Mahomes at all.
Yeah.
But I think that they are more equipped now. And I know Jalen Hurts he's not passing for the 200, 300, 350 yards right now, but you got a guy in the backfield that you can hand the ball to, and then he's a lightning in the bottle.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to still say that team was better just based on, again, I thought Jalen Hurts was playing better. Way better. So, what about you, Jamie? Break the tie.
Whether that Eagles team is better than this one? Yeah, I think so too. I'm not that impressed with this Eagles team. I'm just not. A good defense, great running back this year, but apart from that, I'm not wowed. Sorry, Carey.
Well, wait till you get to the NFC Championship game. We'll talk.
Oh, if you do.
We'll bet $2 like JR skid.
You still owe me $5.
Do I owe you money?
Yeah.
What for?
You know what?
Oh, I do.
In fact, it might be $10 now because you doubled down.
Did we double down on it?
We did.
I don't think we did.
Oh, I know too. You know what I do know? I do know you didn't pay me.
I did not pay you.
That's horrible.
This is like a chain reaction right now because Brandon from the Snake Pit also hasn't ponied.
When I get my money from Brandon, you all are.
No, we're not playing that game. You go collect your own debt, buddy.
You and I.
Yeah.
What did we bet on?
What was that? It was a game.
If anybody got change, I got something for you.
Yeah, it was a game. What was that?
We did.
Was that Ohio State, Oregon?
No.
I didn't
like the first matchup.
Man, it wasn't that long ago.
I don't know.
We got to start writing these things down, you know?
No, then there's a paper trail.
Go ahead, Justin.
Question number 5.
All right, from the 309, will we ever stop saying that the Blues need to stop losing to bad teams and realize that we are one of those teams?
Okay. We are? So we're like the Blackhawks and the Sharks. We have 32 points. The Predators 33 points. But the Blues at 44. We're the same. Find that hard to believe. How about the Sabres? Let's go there. 37 points for the Sabres. They're looking pretty good. Hey? No, they're not.
No.
They're last, Anthony. Last time I checked, that's not good.
That's not good.
So, yeah.
Were you finished dead last? Yeah. No, I had a nice weekend.
Had a nice day?
I'm just going to have to disagree. I am. This bottom line is your team... You've also beat some really good teams.
Does that make it worse, though, that they are losing to some of these? And I don't consider, like, Columbus to be... I think people have that
Columbus
perception.
Columbus is a friggin' playoff
team,
guys.
so it's a little different.
So we should probably ease off of that one.
But like teams like the Sabres and some of those lower level teams that you've lost to.
Yep.
And how do you like the Sharks are better than they were last year? So
Sharks are literally a box of chocolates. You have no idea what team you're getting on a night-to-night basis.
But I would say they're better though than what they were last year.
They're much better. Yes.
So, I think there's certain teams that I don't want to give the Blues a pass by any means, but you can, kind of squint and be like, all right, I can understand. But like, I think it is frustrating though that you're not gaining points when you should be. And I think there's certain losses on the calendar.
Yes.
There's certain losses on the calendar that you can kind of write in. You're like, all right, I don't know how they match up against this team, but you got to beat the teams that you can and should. And the Blues aren't doing that enough right now.
Well, especially right now. You've lost 3 of your last 4. In Columbus has been, I don't want to say almost unbeatable at home, but they've been almost unbeatable on home ice. They are a playoff team right now. Then you rhyme off 4 goals in a row to get a 2-goal lead against the Minnesota Wild. That's when you can't hand back.
Right.
You come back home here, and everybody talks about, that Anaheim Ducks team's terrible. Oh, that's beat up on a team like that. Okay, the Ducks are 3 points behind the Blues right now in the standings. So they're not terrible. And you did beat the pants off of them. So that was a big win. That was a good win. Mm-hmm. Then the Blue Jackets game, I thought the Blue Jackets were ripe for the picking. Monahan's not in the lineup. They're going with their backup goalie, who played fantastic, of course, by the way. It's like the no-name pitcher that faces the Cardinals. Almost a guaranteed winner every time. But
TBD get you.
Yeah, so it is frustrating. To your point, Marshy, it's very frustrating to look at the calendar or the schedule and go, these were games here we should have won, we didn't, and that's why he didn't make the playoffs. And Gary Davis just paid me here. I can count this. 5 $1 bills.
Nice.
Wonder where Carey was in Puerto Rico.
Those are for tips.
Yeah, well, they sure are, Anthony.
They work hard.
Yeah.
Pay the people.
Question number 6.
Oh, boy. From 217. Are the Steelers the Cardinals of the NFL? Make the playoffs, lose in the first round, and run it back.
No, they didn't make the playoffs 2 years now, 3 years.
Yeah, they used to be. The Cardinals used to be the Steelers.
I think I've said this before. I think there are a lot of similarities between the two franchises, between the two organizations. As of late, you got a team in Pittsburgh. We talked about it earlier. Well, I was talking to John Kiowski earlier about how hard it is for them to get better when you're always just winning enough games.
Right.
You're right in the middle, and sometimes just above the middle. You're never a top 10 pick team because you don't have a losing record.
Right.
Which makes it hard to
You're not
continue.
bad enough to get good.
Yeah, there you go.
That's correct.
But you're good enough to not be bad.
Yes.
Yep.
Right? To stay right in the middling part of the NFL. So
that is funny though, right? Like, so let's just dissect that for a second. I know we're kind of up against it a little bit, but what do you do in those situations? Because the Steelers are a perfect example of that. The Cardinals also, for the most part, those two teams aren't alone. There's more than that in each and every sport, but they're always middle of the pack-ish teams. Right. So they make the playoffs or they're really close, but they're never bad enough to go get that generational player for their franchise. It's like being stuck in the mud, kind of, and being unwilling to figure out a solution.
It's called spending money in free agency.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to either find your next.
Yeah, but what if you're not doing that?
Well, then
because the Cardinals aren't doing that. The Steelers aren't doing that.
Oh, here we are.
Did you see Cordero Patterson's tweet after the game?
Oh boy,
he tweeted a picture of his driveway. Said, "I might as well shovel snow since I didn't see the field." Guess he didn't play in the game.
Oh boy,
wow.
Yeah, it's tough to be dressed and not play. You don't like it. It stinks. Oh, Artie. Gotta love him, right, Anthony? You either love him or you hate him, huh?
Man. I think Titans fans have appreciation for him.
Yeah.
When he had Derrick Henry.
Oh, is that guy good?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, if you're Mike Tomlin, you're seeing Lamar Jackson do what he's doing. Like, just give me a damn quarterback. Go up and get one.
Yeah.
I know they won't, but...
Yeah. You have to trade,
how are they going to do that?
Trade away some good stuff.
Yeah,
for
I was
that.
going to say.
You have to trade?
Yeah, and then you're going to have a team that has a quarterback and nothing with him.
At least you have the quarterback.
Oh, we see how that works. How's Caleb Williams doing?
How's Jaden Daniels doing?
Well, Jaden Daniels is great, yes.
Get you a good quarterback, good coach combination.
I could rhyme off a lot more, that it did not go.
Oh, no,
well.
you can't, because we have Chris
Sam
Stapleton
Darnold,
tickets to give away
KOC.
right now. We have your shot to score a pair of lawn tickets to see Chris Stapleton on Friday, July 11th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Tickets for Chris Stapleton go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Text in to win free tickets now at 314-399-9646. That's our Air Comfort Service text line. You can find all the ticket details and a bonus chance to register to win tickets at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app. Which Bears head coach did our guy Jamie Rivers have to ask several times
Just want clarification.
to Carey and I to repeat? Which Bears head coach, former head coach, did Jamie ask Carey and I to repeat multiple times so that he understood what his actual name was?
Correct.
If you have the correct answer, you're the 101st texter. You'll go see Chris Stapleton just by texting in 314-399-9646. All right, Marsh, it's your time. We're going to break down tonight's Rams-Vikings game.
Yeah.
That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Gary Davis, and if you are a contractor or own a business that needs recycling, my good friends over at Scrap Mart Metals can help you. They are tailor-made for your business to meet your schedule and your budget. They understand the job site cleanup for you contractors is a mess. Oftentimes, you can set up a business account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal. It'll be one less thing you have to do during cleanup, but you don't have to be a contractor. If you have some things in your home that need recycling that you couldn't get rid of this summer or this fall, you can go by Scrap Mart Metals, and they will help you get rid of it as well. If you're a plumber, if you do heating and cooling, an excavator, or a contractor, Scrap Mart Metals Recycling can make your job easier. You own that heavy equipment, you contractors, it gets frustrating. You have to repair it over and over and over again. The time will come to end your suffering. Scrap Mart will come and get it out of your way. They'll haul your equipment to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. Or if you want to haul it yourself, they have 3 convenient locations: Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. Just visit them today at scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas can talk to you about setting a business account to get that thing rolling. Again, get it done today. Scrapmartmetals.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. If you missed anything from today's show, including our interview with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We talked about the Blues' 2-1 loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Your Blues will be back in action tomorrow, taking on the Calgary Flames. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Tonight we have the final wild card match in the NFL playoffs. It is the LA Rams going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Pregame for that one will start at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7, and we are going to discuss that matchup next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Entrance survey for tonight's Rams and Vikings game. Of course, the game was unfortunately moved to Glendale, Arizona, where the Cardinals play because of the tragic fires that have engulfed L.A. So the game will be played not in L.A. tonight, but of course in Arizona. All right, boys, we did this for the other wild card matchups. What will be the biggest determining factor in this game? The biggest determining factor. Jamie Rivers, you have your hands up.
Yeah, I think it's obvious. Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
What version do you get of Sam Darnold? Last game he just played, he looked uncomfortable the entire time. Didn't have a great performance. This is a playoff game. They're the favorite team. A lot of pressure. I just wonder, man. Is he going to crumble? Is he going to start seeing those ghosts again? Or is he going to be the Sam Darnold that was just chopping up the league for most of the season? I think for me, that's the one.
For me, it's which.
That's a hard.
It's which which Rams team shows up. Like you've seen a team. They put up 44 against the Bills, right? And then you saw them put up 12, 19, and 13 in the following weeks. And then they are. You know they have that explosiveness. You know Puka Nacua is going to be a guy that is targeted a lot. You know Cooper Kupp is going to get his opportunities. But which team is going to show up? And defensively, they're young, and I think they've gotten better throughout the entire year. Are they able to get to Sam Darnold and keep pressure on him and put, guys in his face and make the throws harder for him? So for me, it's which Rams team is going to show up.
I think for me, it's Brian Flores' defense. That first matchup, I didn't think the defense looked that great. Like the Rams did a good job of just kind of going down the field and having their way with the Vikings defense. Now you've mentioned multiple times that was off of a short week, so maybe things look a little bit different. But I think if Sam Darnold is not what we've seen throughout the entire regular season. Let's say he's just a little bit better than what he was last week, but it's still like a little sketchy. The defense needs to show up. I thought the defense did good in the first half of that game last week against the Lions. If you can get that kind of performance and keep that throughout the entire game, keep this game close, maybe let Sam Darnold get into the game if he does, if he's experiencing those nerves.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it throughout the regular season. He's made some big-time throws in key spots late in games. So if it's a close game, perhaps he can do that again, but you got to keep it close, especially with this dynamic offense that the Rams have. But to Carey's point, which version of that is going to show up? I lean towards the idea of this really good Rams offense showing up. It's the playoffs. Matthew Stafford he's a veteran. He's won a Super Bowl. Sean McVay, he's your favorite coach, Anthony. You like his playbook. He's got a good playbook. They're going to dial something up that is going to make their offense dangerous tonight. I really do. I think it's going to be a close game.
And Marsha, he loves that playbook. He was actually using some of it for his Falcons team.
Yeah.
And I said, Anthony, I think
Concepts are a little
that's
tough.
a bit much for 5-year-olds.
Yeah, you forced me to dial back a little bit, which I think cost us in the semifinal game against the Chiefs.
Anthony, I don't know that you make it to the semifinal game if you kept Sean's plays in, right? The complexity of it for kids that.
I think they were coming along there. You know better
than me.
We're going with the stack concept. With the smash a couple times, but
Sean McVay is the best playbook.
Yeah.
It's pretty good though.
I love all three of your determining factors. I really do, because you're on point. Jamie, Sam Darnold is which one we're gonna get? I think Sam Darnold plays well, but it's in play that he could see ghost. Carey, I think you nailed it. Like Rams, they've been inconsistent offensively all year.
Yeah.
Are they going to be the one that showed up against the Bills or the one that showed up against the Dolphins where they couldn't do a damn thing?
Well, the 49ers.
Or the
that
Niners.
game bothered me.
Yeah.
That game bothered me. So I don't know why. I know it was rainy.
And you played in a game like that before.
Yeah, but that game burned me up to my core.
Do you remember the Dolphins one? Because that one bothered me. It was a Sunday night or a Monday night game, and I'm like, I'm the guy with
doing.
You know the meme where it's like, do something.
Yeah,
you know,
got
like
the stick.
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Marsh, you absolutely nailed it too. Like Brian Flores. He dials up a lot of blitzes. Stafford eviscerated Brian Flores a couple of times in that matchup. It was like there was a play where Stafford he threw a touchdown pass. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Demarcus Robinson.
Maybe.
And he was like immediately Stafford knew, and that's something you draw up in practice leading up to it. So I think that matchup is going to be interesting. But ultimately, my determining factor is Kevin O'Connell's been in one playoff game. And unfortunately, Kirk Cousins is his quarterback, and he lost that game. Sam Darnold, this is his first playoff game. Other side, it's Stafford and McVay. Like that's a tough hill to climb there. So what will Kevin O'Connell do? What will Sam Darnold do with all their playoff inexperience against two guys that know what they're doing? All right, the hero, Jamie. You are a hero to many people, but the hero for tonight.
Well, thank you very much. I got to go with Stafford.
That's what I was going to go with.
I got to go with Stafford. Like, I was going to say Puka Nacua, then I was like, maybe Cooper Kupp. And I was like, wait, how do they become the star of the game unless Stafford is on point?
Yeah.
So I'm going with Stafford.
Oh, I'm going with Puka Nacua. I think, and Marshy, I know this is. Have we talked about this yet for Marshy? How difficult of a day this is? We don't know.
We don't know
how he's feeling.
Yeah, how this could go.
Yeah,
for Marshy, because
it's tough.
It's his Vikings, and yet he may have a cul-de-sac on the line, depending on what the Riz show picked and what we picked for our Pick'em Challenge.
Yeah.
So it could be a tough night.
Yeah.
It could be a win-win night for Marsh. Wait.
No.
It's going to be a win-lose. It could be a lose-lose. Yeah.
Could be.
This could be, honestly, the worst night of Marsh's life.
Well, I've had worse.
He's
dealt
Are you
with
watching the game with your girlfriend tonight?
No, I did that last week and they lost. So you watching it at home with some buddies?
Okay.
Oh wow.
Well, I was just going to advise her to go have a girls' night or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, she knows what's on the line.
She's become a football fan. Is she a Vikings fan?
No, she's an Eagles fan. Yeah.
She's an Eagles fan.
Her mother was an Eagles fan, so. She's an
so
Eagles
if you
fan.
win,
that's gonna be a tough. It's gonna be a tough week. Hey.
This could get real interesting. All right, so Stafford, Nacua.
If it's not me catching footballs out there, Justin Jefferson, I think it's going to come down to TJ Hawkinson. He was targeted a lot last week. He had, guys draped all over him all game, and, it is what it is. But I think he becomes a huge player tonight in that short to intermediate route. Get him the ball. Like, you don't have to force feed Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison, but take what you can get, and I think he ends up having a big game. TJ Hawkinson.
The Rams have been terrible against tight ends this year, opposing tight ends, so I could see that one as well. I'm with Jamie. I think it's Stafford. I think Stafford Like, McVay's going to put the ball in the air 35-plus times tonight, I think. And I think Stafford's going to have one of those games.
Going to have to.
Yeah, I agree. And Kyron Williams is a stud back. Obviously, a St. Louis kid. He's been great all year. But I think this is one of those games where Stafford takes over. The GOAT.
I don't want to say
said his name.
Yeah, I don't want to say it.
Marshy, do you have a GOAT?
And not the greatest of all time.
We're all under the impression that if somebody is going to be terrible tonight, it's going to be Sam Darnold.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why we'd say that.
If the Rams are losing this game, I think as a whole,
Jamie.
Wow. Oh, wow. That was good.
He had his mic dropped and he couldn't. I heard you.
Yeah. I said Anthony.
I know. Well, I said Jamie. You're the closest one to me, and he said it, so I couldn't get to Anthony. Sorry.
You're disgusted.
You're disgusted. You said my name.
I didn't say it on the air.
We all heard it.
Was that on purpose?
No.
I was about to cough.
I'll go with Matthew Stafford. Like, if the Rams are going to lose, it's because he has a bad game.
Sure.
So I don't see the defense, there being one particular defender that ends up costing the Rams. I think if the Rams are going to lose, it's because their offense is stagnant, and that falls on the quarterback.
That makes sense. Sam Darnold, they'll say aye.
Aye.
All right. Prediction. Jamie?
I got the Rams winning this one. I think it's like a 28-24 game.
28-24.
I think.
Rams victory. Carey?
I got 33-28. I had to get to 33. But
yeah.
It's weird. I know. 33-28. Rams.
It's going to be a fun game tonight, gentlemen. Anthony, what do you have?
Rams 27-24.
All right, we'll see what happens. Thanks for all your predictions.
Bet the board. Hey, you know what? We did that for you.
Yeah.
What?
All of it, Andrew.
Reverse Jenks, baby.
Yep. We'll see what happens,
We just
guys.
talked up the Rams for 10 and a half minutes for you.
Should be a fun game.
So, Marshy?
Yeah.
JJ?
Yeah, I got to go catch a flight.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Bet the board. 3 stars of the day. Criticisms, compliments, all next on 101 ESPN. missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at our Dobbs and Tire Auto Centers 101 ESPN mobile app. All the podcasts brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. All right, time to bet the board. You're in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Justin, do you have the updated standings?
Yes. Anthony, you and Carey are tied at 5.
What?
I have 3 points, and Jamie has 2.
Whatever.
How did we get tied at 5, huh?
Did you hit Friday?
Yeah.
So did Anthony.
With the Bills over 29.5 points. Just got there.
When I left, I was in the lead.
Well,
a hefty lead.
Things happened.
Yeah, clearly.
Things happened.
Well, Carey, you know what? You leave. It's just it's your fault.
And my parlay did not hit either. So
how many legs did you hit?
I stopped after the first one, did not hit. So stopped caring.
Okay. You hit the first one, though, I remember that.
No, it was a hot start, and then it just went sideways.
All right. Carey, what do you got tonight?
Give me Steph Curry, 35.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Okay.
Over.
Give me Matthew Stafford over 33.5 attempts.
Not a bad number.
Ooh, baby.
33.5.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the playoff Stafford.
He's going to throw
38,
it 46 times.
40.
He's going to throw it 46 times.
Going to let him loose.
Let it eat.
Yeah.
Give me Jonathan Grenard over half sack.
Okay.
Okay. Give me Matthew Tkachuk over 0.5 power play points tonight.
I'm looking at this. You had Mixon scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
You had Allen. Oh, Allen didn't score a touchdown.
Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Nope.
But you had Jacob scoring a touchdown. Bucky Irvin scoring a touchdown. Did Henry get? Henry got 100+ yards.
Yeah, didn't get the receiving though.
Okay.
So
you did okay though.
It was fine.
You hit most of your touchdown plays.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if I would have got 6 of them, I still would have missed.
That's true. That's true. All right.
Hey.
Marsh, what do we got for 3 stars of the day?
All right, our 3rd star of the day is hitting the post, and not in hockey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In between.
Yep. That's a tough one for Jamie and Carey.
Oh yeah.
Not great. Second star of the day goes to hiring a private investigator.
Yep. Absolutely.
Got to do what you got to do.
Come in handy, man.
Sometimes you got to. Yeah.
Yep.
And we've had a lot of coaches that we've talked about on this show. Gift Smith being one of them. He's gotten a star multiple times.
Smith.
Today's first star goes to Dick Geron.
Dick Geron was the answer to our Chris Stapleton tickets, by the way. Rams, Vikings, pregame at 6:30. We got the kickoff at 7 for our guy, Andrew Marsh. Good luck, buddy. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter. See you.